2, 1.
And that's how I got a robot foot.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy,
So
right?
does it really affect your like marathon running or?
I don't marathon run, but I do run the 4K. So that I would say that no, it doesn't. Like I don't even notice.
Were you in the
Nice.
casting run-up for Planet Terror?
Yes, but I had to opt out due to a conflict at the time, so I wasn't able
So
to.
that's why they gave it to Rose McGowan then.
Yeah, that's exactly the part I was going for.
Yeah, because you're robot foot.
Yeah. Does she have a robot foot too? I bet you we have the same doctor. Like I bet but they wouldn't be able to tell me because of. Anyway,
Hi,
let me
everybody.
know when we go live, Tim.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, hello.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday live stream.
I am ready to talk about 90s fashion, you guys. I am so stoked about our topic. I like the flannel thing. It's not exactly spot on, but Kylie kind of makes it a callback to the 90s.
Talking about 90s fashion.
We're talking about live action movies with kid heroes. Now there was some debate.
Damn it!
There was some debate. Look at that. She's already throwing out profanity.
Look, I'm just going to say,
That is
Melinda,
very-
you look amazing today.
Thank you.
I am just...
Aaron and I watched The Craft on Thursday night in preparation for our next Dreamland podcast. And
Preparation
I
W.
absolutely adore Fairuza Balk in that movie. She is a vision of awesomeness.
I like her in every movie
I
she
like
does.
her in every movie as well.
know.
And so I was like, I'm just going to go full 90s goth. Like 90s goth, not modern goth, but like,
Just a little.
now, Michael, please take it away with
You know, Michael had a goth phase.
I did not.
that. I would pay money to see.
If you count Luke Skywalker's
Spiky.
Jedi Knight outfit when I was 5,
Spiky hair.
that's the closest I've ever come to. Or dressing up as a ninja in black pajamas, then yeah, okay, maybe, but not really. No.
He's loved Marilyn Manson.
You didn't have
Okay.
any tie-dye or
Sweet.
hyper
dreams
colors
are made
or
of-
parachute
I
pants.
think I had one hypercolor shirt.
I had a hypercolor.
I
I did
had
as well.
several of them.
Really?
I had cross-color shorts as well. I don't
Wow.
know if you remember cross-color.
You know,
Oh, with the stripe, like the socks?
Well, it was sort of like it was a patchwork sort of thing. So the
Oh,
shorts
okay.
would have been
the
like
thing about
orange on one side.
hypercolor, you don't think about it until you start having like underarm heat.
Yes.
And then it's like, hey, I'm sweating.
Yeah, you have to be cool like me to
Yeah.
pull off the hypercolor.
You literally
t-shirt.
have to be cool.
you had no hyper color?
I think I had one hypercolor shirt. That's it. That's it.
I mean,
had
that
one.
was a very 80s thing. So.
For me, it was like 89, 90.
Yeah, it was early 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Even I was in Alabama, and we had them in like 87,
Yeah,
88.
they were a late 80s thing.
Well, we
but
didn't
I
have them in Alaska.
I didn't get one until like 90, 91.
It's because NASA
fine.
prototyped them in Huntsville.
in Huntsville.
Yeah.
I was always like
were
right at
early
the end of
adopters.
That's
that.
right.
So like right as everybody else was throwing away their no fear shirts, I finally got
Oh
them.
my God.
Just,
Wow.
so
That's a blast from the
And your
past.
Oakleys? You
I
had your
had
Oakleys.
successfully forgotten
I was-
about No Fear.
when I was a kid in the 80s, I fell in love with the mirrored aviators, and I've never
Yes.
moved away from them. It's like every other sunglass fad is like, no, I like my mirrored aviators. It's
Do you guys remember the white Ray-Bans that were super popular
Yeah.
in the late 80s?
I
like
do, yeah.
oh man.
But I also remember when sunglasses went weird in the 80s. Remember? Because it was like 80 to 86, it was just the black plastic with the dark.
Wayfarers.
Yeah, you know, just the wafer, just the and you can't
Yeah.
even find those now. Like
Right.
now they're like $1 million to find a pair. But to your point, like in the late 80s, all of a sudden fashion hit sunglasses, and then
What about the ones that were just blinds?
Yeah.
Geordie
yes,
LaForge's
yes.
with the horizontal Geordie LaForge.
And wasn't it McDonald's that gave away all of the Back to the Future 2 future sunglasses, like one a week for like 4 weeks? And they were like useless as sunglasses, but
They
it's
were
like,
dumb.
this is like a Geordie LaForge visor.
Yes.
This one's like got askew frames. You know what? We're losing.
You guys-
everybody.
Sorry, yeah, we're
I have
way
succeeded in actually making this podcast or this live stream about 90s fashion.
You actually did. Even though
I
tried
would just like
get
to
up.
take a moment and appreciate my own awesomeness right now. You're welcome. Okay.
You're welcome.
Vinkman says, Aaron the Aaronist, Aaron the ever errand, was whooshing through the city as Aaron Man when he saw something that paralyzed him with fear. Oh no, not him. Anything but him. It was him. his arch enemy, Jupiter Man.
Oh, Jupiter Man, scaring that airman as much as he can. Scaring him up, pushing
Monkey
him
Boy,
over.
I just want to say you're welcome for that email. I'm glad that it brightened your day. It brightened mine too. I was laughing all evening about that.
JS says, what do you think of Super 8? Kid heroes with a retro theme.
It's a J.J. Abrams movie, so I hate it.
It was
Pretty much everything Mike you were going to bring up today, Michael's going to go, I hate
It started out fine, but about past halfway through, it's like, now it's just dumb.
It tried too hard
Yeah,
to be that. Like, it had all the right ingredients. It's like they just didn't cook it long enough.
Was
or
it
something.
80s fan servicing a lot?
In the beginning, yes. But by
Yeah.
the time it gets about halfway through it, and then they really try to make it this huge wow factor of what's going on, you're like, eh.
Yeah, all the actors in it were really good, I thought. It was just what they had to work with writing-wise. It's like the bane of all the movies that we pick on so much. It's like the characters and the actors seem to be fine, but the story's a little dumb.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
I think that's fair.
Wonder Woman.
All right, so my parameters with the kid hero thing.
Yeah, let's
okay?
talk about that.
Not your parameters. You guys can have whatever parameters you want. What I'm saying is,
Don't impose your will on
I'm
us.
not. I'm literally just explaining that I'm not imposing my will. I don't impose my will.
What if we want you to impose your Sorry. That's stupid.
I was just waiting for Melinda's look on that one. I wasn't even going there. So
All right. So the way I looked at this was kid heroes are anybody who's not quite driving age. Although there was some discussion and a few movies sort of edged in there before we actually started the live stream. But kid heroes to me, it's as a child, I was very cognizant of I was very cognizant of how unamazing my life was, how unamazing earthbound life is. So if there was a kid as the central character of a story, that story better not go because my brain wouldn't handle it. It's like if this kid does anything that I know isn't possible for me,
right.
I'm out. Like adults do great things. Like adults fly jet fighters. Adults go on adventures. Adults can drive a car. Adults can own a gun. Like adults, kids. What? I'm watching Turbo Teen and hating it. Like, I gotta come inside because I gotta go to school the next day and get beaten up by nuns. Like, there's no alien landing
Ninja nuns.
there's no alien landing in my backyard.
Put their crosses.
Right? Like,
Right.
There's no. So when you guys were talking to me this afternoon saying, okay, well, maybe we should let Karate Kid in there and Terminator 2, I'm going, well, to me, when I was growing up, they were older, like Alex
Yes.
Rogan and Marty McFly. They were older, even though they're not as old as Marty McFly and Alex Rogan. They were still old enough that I was like, they're older than me, right?
I think that's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like once you're a teenager, a teen movie is a different entity. Like teen movies are like about dating and
So
there's-
what's Adventures in Babysitting then? Does it straddle that
it
line?
kind of straddles that line. It's more of a teen movie, I would say, than a kid movie. To me, a kid movie is like if you're old enough to have had a bar or bat mitzvah, whether or not you're Jewish, like you're probably going toward that teen area. Like if you're 13, 14, 15, like you're not old enough to drive, but you're probably still kind of like, it still feels like the Frog Brothers of like the Lost Boys. Like it's still a teen thing. Whereas if you're like 10 or 11, that's a different riding your bikes, Goonies kind of a feeling in the movie. And so to me, you know, teen movies are different and probably a little less annoying to you, Michael, I would think. Just because of their tone and the types of subjects that they cover. And, you know, Last Starfighter, for example, not as annoying as if that kid had been like 10.
yes.
Oh no, Last Starfighter didn't bother me because
Well,
he was
that's
a
what
teenager
that's
who
my
could
point.
drive, and
That's
so
my
I'm going,
point.
okay,
pretty much done with high school, but he's
yes,
right in between being
Right.
that teenager adult
right.
gap.
Marty
Right.
McFly was a driving age teenager, so to me, as a 6-year-old or 7-year-old, he was an adult in essence, right? So yeah, I could buy it.
And
like,
before we get out of control in the chat, before y'all start throwing shade saying, "Oh, this movie's not up there," There's some movies we do have, some we don't
There's
have.
a lot we don't have because
There's a
Michael
lot
doesn't like this
yes,
genre.
There's a
So,
lot, E.T.
E.T.,
We know, you
yeah.
know,
Monster
Daryl,
Squad.
Monster Squad. We talked about all of these, but we don't have those to put on the table.
They're all
so,
open for
yeah.
discussion.
Yes.
But again, a table is a physical object that only has so much space on it.
Yes.
And a bank account only has so much money to buy movies in it.
This is
Also,
So-
some of these movies are really heavy, so like the table could collapse.
It could.
if
It
we
could,
put them
yeah.
up there.
Vinkman says, kid heroes are such a great live stream topic. Everyone is talking about 80s fashion instead.
Well, that's arguably one and the same, right? Like I had parachute pants in the 80s. I loved my parachute.
I love
pants.
how he's complaining about it. It's
I
got
want it
us
to
all
come
back
back.
on the topic of how
Maybe
great
it's because
acid washed
that super
jeans
chat
were.
Maybe because that super chat's delayed from like 10 minutes ago.
It is, because we were talking. Boba Hicks says, Josh Baskin in Big.
Oh, we were talking about that. The whole
We talked about Big.
Yes.
It-
Does it qualify? Blah blah blah.
the reason it
yeah.
doesn't qualify is because they advertised it as a Tom Hanks movie. So the whole idea is he becomes an adult that can do all the adult things. Now, granted, it is still a very far-fetched movie, but they take the kid and they make him an adult to go on the adventure, like Shazam, right? Like
Yes.
he becomes Shazam to go do the stuff. He's not a kid like in Flight of the Navigator where he's like, I can fly this amazing alien spaceship that landed in my backyard and took me forward in time. And I'm sitting there as a kid going, this is BS. Like this, there's no way. Like this, I can't. No shit that looks like Quicksilver's head from Silverhawks is going to land in my backyard or in a secret facility.
It could.
Silverhawks. You keep bringing it back.
There are a ton of movies that I really love that are kid hero movies, true kid hero movies that are not on the table. One of them is Harriet the Spy with
Uh-huh.
Michelle
That's a good one.
Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
Great movie. I know some people don't like it, but I always thought it was really great. Also Matilda, another really
Loved
good
Matilda,
kid-centered movie. And then The Gate, which is a horror movie. That's a great
Love
kid
that
hero, total kid hero movie.
And that
right?
movie
Like,
generally freaked us out.
it was very scary.
freaked us out
Very scary.
when he put the eye in his hand.
Oh my
and it was
God.
just like, ah!
Yeah. Well, so, and then you've got things like Firestarter, which, I feel that she truly is, even though she's with her dad. Like a lot of times with a kid hero movie, I like to see the kid being the one with all the agency, the one that the story is truly about. And in this case, I know her dad also has some stuff going on and he's there, but in the end game, it is her. Like, so to me, she truly is the hero of the movie. So I think that one counts. There's a lot of cool different genre movies that you kind of get into, like, Home Alone. Obviously, that's definitely a kid movie, right?
Yeah, but it's also a kid movie where I was an early teen when it came out, but I could buy into the comedy of it because as a kid I was like, yeah, I can see accidentally getting left behind somewhere, like at the mall or wherever, and
Yeah.
so suddenly you have to defend your house. Like there was nothing there. Like it wasn't like an alien showed up and was like, I need to get home. Like it wasn't Mac and Me, or something
Mac and
like
Me.
that. Same thing with the Goonies, for example. Now the Goonies pushes the boundaries of my tolerance as far as that element goes. As far
No,
I
that's
love,
interesting.
I love all the kids in it. They're
It's just because it's got Kathleen Kennedy on the back, doesn't it?
no,
It's probably a
No.
lot to do with that. Now that you mention it.
no. I can totally buy into kids finding out that a real estate developer is turning their neighborhood into a shopping center
Yes.
or a business park or whatever, and they want to help their parents. Like
That was a
figure out-
constant in the 80s. That was the
Yeah,
game
yeah,
in the 80s,
yeah.
was to do that to neighborhoods.
Where it gets a little like, okay, is the further along they get in the treasure hunt. That's where it's like, I still liked the Goonies growing up. I could watch the Goonies.
Yeah, I agree. Like the ship was completely unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
Even as a kid watching that movie, I'm like, that ship, you couldn't even stand on that deck.
Right.
The wood would have
Right,
you
right.
fell through.
And I get it. It's a fantasy
I was
entertainment.
about to say that's the whole point of it is that as a kid to imagine that existed somewhere in your backyard or in the hill
Sure,
that you
right.
lived by. But Michael, I can kind of join you on that side of the table for the Goonies. As unpopular as it might be, I like the idea of the Goonies,
Yeah.
and I frequently will put it on and start watching it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll check out about the time they figure out how to get through the grate at the back of the restaurant.
Yes.
Because at that point, the movie stops being as interesting to me.
Yes.
But all that initial stuff where they're at each other's houses and
Yes.
they're talking, that all felt about right.
It felt
To
perfect.
me, that is exactly how I feel about Stranger Things. because I love the window dressing of it. I love as you're walking in through the foyer of the movie, like it's so amazing. They do such a great job of capturing the 80s. We've talked about that particularly in
Yes,
season 1.
yes.
And then for me, once they start getting heavily into the Stephen King ripoff, like paranormal part, it totally loses me and it's boring. And I'm like, I know where this is going. I'm not interested anymore.
Well,
Like
it gets a little predictable, right?
Yeah.
It's a little too predictable.
It's like this other part is interesting. And
Right.
if it had just been set in, like what you're saying, in a real world of things that
Right.
could really happen in the 80s, I would have bought every t-shirt and whatever thing like about Stranger Things because it would have been amazing. What was that?
Yeah, what was that?
I think your other computer briefly played some
Is that
sound.
what it was?
I will go.
The one where you were playing
But I want to be clear about something. 'Cause
copywritten music.
I don't want you guys to grab your torches and pitchforks here. All right. I love watching The Goonies from beginning to end.
Yes.
I do not hate The Goonies as a movie. I really like it. I mean, I own it. Okay. What I'm saying is, it's my limit for that kind of thing with kids.
No, I
in
just find it
extraordinary-
very interesting
Yeah.
that was the one you went to.
Well,
I just find
it's
that
the
very
one I
great.
went to because it's the one where I say this is the end of my line. After this,
Because for me, it's more Karate Kid.
but for
See,
me,
Karate Kid is a teen movie.
Karate Kid.
Correct.
But to me, I found that like he learns how to do karate against kids who've been taking it their whole life. But again, we're in the Empire argument of, but Mr. Miyagi spends 4 weeks with Daniel and he can beat everybody. So I was
That's
kinda
not an
like,
Empire argument. That's a Ray argument. Ray is.
well,
Ray-
when I'm talking about Luke and
I know what you're
Dagobah.
talking about,
You
and
don't-
guess what? That is a false equivalency, and I will fight you on
I've got
that.
a whole bunch of super chats, guys.
Okay, you
Okay,
read the
sorry.
super chats. I will
Well,
go.
this one is literally to you.
Okay, well, just read it. I'll be right back.
Wicked Person says, how much like the nun in the Brothers Brothers, do you mean the Blues Brothers,
Probably the Blues Brothers.
are real world nuns in schools?
See, you got to speak to that. I
I'm
was
gonna
never in
speak to
Catholic
that.
school, so
Well, that's
Okay, so to answer your question, I'll answer it this way. In the 5th grade, I was put in a child psychologist's office regularly for over 3 months because of 5 years subjugated to nun instructors. So yes.
And he also gave a very good reason not to continue talking about it.
Yeah. Sal says, I'm with you, Michael. One of my big hangups with those types of movies is how incompetent they have to make the adults in order to make the kids shine.
Right.
Though I do know quite a few of those adults now.
Val, you are so right, because with my kids, they watch a lot of stuff all the time, and it is not a joke how constant it is that the parents are idiots and they're absent and they're never there.
well, look at where we went now.
And
Now
only the
we've-
kids can save everyone.
Yeah. Well, now it's gone to Hunger Games to where all the adults are sending children in to kill each other in arenas.
That's almost like a
Yeah.
Well, it totally ripped off one of the Bachman book stories. So,
Yeah, but I'm just sitting here going.
But isn't that Stephen King?
yeah.
Look at
I'm just
look at
saying,
where we're at
it's-
though. It's not just that. Then you have Twilight, and then you've got.
How are we talking about Twilight right
Well,
now?
no. I'm just saying,
Because
like
Tim wants to. He
no, it's
always
the
wants-
Those are
evolution
teenagers,
of.
though.
Yeah,
They're
but
driving
again, it
age
goes
teenagers.
back to the whole thing of how the adults have to be incompetent if it's a kids movie, but in a teen movie, the adults have to be out to get you.
Well, here's the thing. In Karate Kid,
Well, in
all of
Harry
the-
Potter, the adults are kind of out to get you.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, though.
Harry Potter, though, doesn't bother me for the reason that it's about kids.
No, it bothers you for other reasons.
It bothers me for other reasons.
Because you don't like
But
Alan
I would
Rickman.
argue that your reasons are because they are kids.
Well, we'll
Because
get
you-
into that momentarily,
we
but I want
will.
to finish. I want to finish what Tim brought up with Karate Kid.
Oh,
So Karate Kid has 2 competent adults. One is Sinister, though, with Kreese. They're
Right.
not bungling,
Yes.
right? And as a kid in the mid to late 80s, martial arts class was like a huge thing, right?
Right.
So that was very plausible. The movie itself, aside from his rapid training under a master, the movie itself is pretty grounded. Like,
Okay, I'll grant you that. I mean, I
Right.
still love the movie. Don't
Yeah,
get me
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
But even as a kid, though, I looked and I was like, Ralph Macchio. I'm like, he's like 42 years old. I'm like, I just can't get into that. He's riding a BMX bike to school.
I
was
didn't
just,
know
like,
that
struggled
then.
with that, you know?
I definitely did not know that Ralph
Really?
Macchio was as old as he was. When
No.
I
He wasn't
it,
that
well, you
old.
could
he
look at
wasn't
him.
that old, but he is
Yeah.
famously much younger looking,
Just
than
like
he
Michael
is.
J. Fox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Okay,
much
so I have a question. I talked to one of my friends who is actually getting her PhD in literature and stuff like that, and I talked to her about this concept, right, of kid heroes, and she was talking about they had been talking about it in her classes recently, and one of the things that they talked about there was that kid heroes typically, unlike an adult hero, if you have a monster in the film with the kid hero, the kid, instead of being against the monster, is usually friends with the monster and trying to help the monster out. E.T. is a great example of this because E.T. is sort of like a monster or an alien or something that an adult would be scared of, but the kid doesn't have biases like we adults have. And so it's showing that innocence and purity of like being open to new things and not immediately knee-jerking and trying to kill things.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to talk about, like, does that factor into any of these movies, and which ones does it and which ones does it not?
Well,
Stranger
E.T.,
Things.
E.T., Stranger Things, Mac and Me.
In Stranger Things, he makes friends with the Demogorgon, for a little
Yeah.
while, and then one iteration of that. But that one also kind of flips that on the head, and they are definitely against the original Demogorgon from the get-go. Like they're wanting to at least rescue their friend, not necessarily fight the big bad.
And Melinda, your favorite movie, which I need to go get and bring up here, Corey Haim doesn't want to kill his brother after he finds out he's a vampire.
Well, I consider that a teen movie, but yeah. I
Well,
mean,
but
The Lost
Corey
Boys.
Haim is not driving
he's
age.
a preteen. Yeah,
He's a preteen. He's not driving age, and he. And
If you
Feldman,
consider him to be the hero of the movie,
Well,
which you could make that
kind-
argument.
well, to me, the movie centers around him.
yeah,
It kind of does, yeah.
So, you know.
Although for me it didn't.
Because she likes Kiefer Sutherland.
Well, but
Oh my
I'm with
God.
you. Me and you love that movie the same. I mean, me and you have a passion for that movie.
I have a passion.
I
for
love
movie.
that movie.
Probably in a different
I
way.
don't think you both
Well.
share this passion. I
All right,
really don't.
talking about monsters and kids, probably the ultimate example of that in a sci-fi way is Terminator 2, because he
Yes,
tells
I
the
was gonna say
monster
that.
who's trying to protect him, "You can't kill people."
Yes.
And here's one thing I want to add about that. I know we've been talking a lot about personal headcanon criteria for why or why not we can tolerate a kid movie. The reason that Terminator 2 didn't bother me the way another sci-fi movie like E.T. would bother me is honestly, this is going to sound like a cop-out, but it's honestly, when I was a kid, this movie was so intensely action-packed and sinister and suspense-driven
It
and
felt more
scary. It overrode those other sensibilities where
That
it was
makes
just
sense,
like,
yeah.
I
it
can
didn't
totally believe
feel
this
like
is
a
scary.
PG movie.
Yeah,
No,
I
I don't
like-
even know if it'd be PG these days.
It's
Is
not
it?
PG.
It's not
R.
PG.
Is it
Is it
R?
R?
Yeah, it's R.
It's R.
Terminator 2's R. What are we talking about
I
here?
thought it was PG-13.
Are
It
you out of
does-
your mind?
I don't
Yes.
know. I didn't pay attention to
Terminator
that stuff.
3 is PG-13. Terminator 3.
Do we have to pretend that that one even exists?
Interesting.
But
Swearing.
We gotta talk
It would-
witchcraft.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Are you going there?
The craft. No,
No,
I'm saying the
separate
craft.
conversation.
The craft is rated R because
But that's teenagers.
I know, but I was just telling him, but just because of witchcraft, there's no
It was
blood,
because of
there's
your
no
debate
violence,
about-
there's no language.
right.
Terminator
there's no
being
Oh, I
sex.
see what
R.
you're saying.
So it's all very those ratings.
But you know what I
especially
think? It's because now I can't. Used to, it was very clear where the lines were, but these days it's not very clear anymore.
It's not clear.
So maybe that's why I'm struggling with these ratings because
Okay,
I'm like,
so
oh, that
I
would be
got
PG-13
super
now.
chat. So Monkey Boy says Corey Feldman has to be the most prolific kid hero. I mean, I guess if you're counting teenagers, then I would say yeah, probably.
For a while, he was in everything.
Yeah.
Boba Hicks says Sam and the Frog Brothers and the Lost Boys. So yeah, I mean, I still think of them as teens.
But
I know
they're
they're
not
not-
driving.
Yeah, see,
That's
I don't.
your rule, not
They're still
mine.
on bikes.
They're not.
They're still
Yeah.
worshiping
They're
comic
not
books.
10.
They're like
They're not
12,
10,
13,
but they're
like-
still not.
I feel like
into-
he's like 15.
Yeah,
And
but he
Michael's
doesn't even like the girl. Like he
17.
didn't even care about all the girls that were around. Any of that.
I feel like
stuff.
they've got Corey Feldman
Um,
or Corey Haim playing that role of someone who's supposed to be a lot younger, but I'm looking at that guy as someone who is actually
pulling a
Corey
Ralph
Haim's-
Macchio, is what you're
That's
saying.
exactly right. So yeah,
Okay.
you're probably
Well, guess
you're
what? I'm
probably
looking
right.
at the context of the story, not the literal age of the actor. All right, I'm looking at story. So in the story, he is a pre-driving adolescent. Therefore, it makes its way under the bar.
Raymond says, "Hi all. So would films like Iron Eagle or The Rescue be borderline since the main characters are of driving age, but they perform adult military actions in a heroic fashion?"
I saw both. I loved Iron Eagle growing up, and I did see The Rescue in the theater as well. I saw that on videotape a few times too. We rented it as one of those
My dad's favorite one.
weekend rentals. They are the leaders in the group, like Adventures in Babysitting, are older teens. So it was still a far-fetched idea, no doubt about it. But as a child, I'm going, well, yeah, a guy who can drive can also learn to fly a plane. So fine, like my head could get there. Now as an adult, you watch it and you're like, yeah,
now as an adult, you're like, some guy who knew how to fly World War I airplanes probably doesn't know how to fly an F-18.
Right.
Stop it
Something
with
like
Well,
Wonder
the fact that
Woman
his dad
vehicles.
took
Is that
him
what
up in an
is that in that?
F-16
Right.
and snuck him around, as a military brat, I'm going to tell you,
no, that's not gonna happen. I still like it better than Top Gun.
Wicked person.
Fight me.
Wicked person says
They will.
The Exorcist as a kid hero movie. No, the
I
hero.
threw that one out there though.
The hero of The Exorcist is
shot
Father what's his face,
right, not the girl.
the priest.
The girl plays a big part, but she isn't like the central force behind.
She has no agency. She's possessed by a demon.
Well, you tried to tell
the exact
me.
opposite of
Melinda
it.
tried to tell me today that The Shining should be on the table, and I said no. Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson are the main
I
characters of
disagree
The
on
Shining.
that because that little kid is not possessed by a demon. He has a gift, and it's because of that he kind of saves the day because he sees what's going to happen and he knows to run. And
Do you want me to go get The Shining and put it on the table?
I don't care if it's
You
on the
wanna go
table.
get it?
You know what?
No,
For
there's
me,
a lot of things that's not
being
on
on
the
the table does not make it
Right.
be or not be.
I
No,
agree.
but I mean, I don't want to insult this film.
Well, also, there's not a lot of people who agree 100% about what The Shining's even about. Like, it's a complicated.
Well,
Well, the book obviously
Yeah, it's turned
complicates
into a
that
lot of weird
too,
things.
but
but or Kubrick certainly didn't help.
no, but I personally, I know this can be very, debated, but I think the film is really interesting and cool
Yes.
in and of itself. It's not an exact translation of the book, but when has that ever gone well for Stephen King? Maybe once or twice, but
No, but I can
generally
see what you're
speaking-
saying. The whole perception through half of the movie is through the child's eyes.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I'm with you on that.
He is the main character.
Yeah. So,
I mean, to me, he is.
He is the warrior.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
no Alanis Morissette.
What? Who? You want Alanis Morissette?
No.
Michael could turn some on if
No.
you wanted to hear it.
Michael Hinkson says, I could stomach the Power Rangers when they came out. When the 8-year-old
Huh.
Blue Ranger showed up in the Turbo movie, I checked out after that.
Ew.
There was an
the
8-year-old?
fact
I
that-
watched
Yes, there
Power
was.
Rangers.
The fact that you got to the Turbo movie is laudable.
Well, here's the thing. I've actually seen it.
That does not shock me. One day he'll
But
surprise me.
I've never been a fan of Power Rangers.
Well, yeah, that.
I mean, I just never have. But I try to give everything I watch, anyways. Just sometimes I watch things just to be knowledgeable. But
yeah.
you are absolutely correct. But I mean, you're talking about such laughable acting.
Yeah.
Power Rangers. Plus, it's a TV show, not a movie. Because
yes,
if we
you
want to talk
guys,
about TV
Monster
shows,
Squad,
Well,
we get it. It's
love Monster Squad.
a great
yeah.
movie. We just don't have it.
But
It's
he's
The
not-
not.
Explorers. We said the same thing about
I'm
the Explorers.
responding
Yes.
to lots of comments in the chat,
Oh,
so I'm
yeah.
just saying, yes, we like it. It's definitely a great kid movie. Da da da.
I
We
think
just
the
don't
two
have
are
it. That's
Monster
why it's
Squad
not on the table.
and the Explorers come up a
Yeah.
lot, repeatedly.
I'm not going to say anything.
No.
See, these three are your allies up here, and I've got a big target on my forehead. So
Michael doesn't like childhood.
Clearly,
Actually,
he hates it.
that's
Like it's
Well, he likes childhood in his own mind. I don't think he liked the actual.
That's not what he's
I'm
even
kidding.
saying. I
I'm
was just
kidding. I'm
being.
kidding.
I was
You
being
know,
inflammatory.
I get like what you are saying about kid heroes being annoying. Like I don't have that feeling of things like the Neverending Story, for example. Like that movie, I don't have the same reaction to it.
I'm
as
not
you, but-
annoyed by the kids themselves. I'm annoyed by the scenario that I didn't buy into.
No,
as
you
a
don't like
child.
Bastion.
No,
well,
I
I
don't.
actually don't like that movie either. I didn't like that movie when I was younger either. Though.
I was
didn't
like,
it.
why
It
can't
was-
we just have a movie about this Atreyu guy and this fantasy?
Well,
why do we
it's
even have
just-
to have this
Atreyu
school
was
thing?
pretty cool.
Yeah, why do we have to have this school thing? Like,
I liked the school.
That was the
Well,
tie
to
in.
me, at the end of the movie, I'm like, so there's no consequences to anything, so it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. That's
Well,
right.
it's like the Disney
Yeah.
sequel trilogy.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
You guys wanted a
I think
dark.
you might have
It's-
missed the point of the movie.
No,
but-
it's Deadpool 2. It's Deadpool
You guys
2
want a
to me.
dark,
You go through the
gritty-
whole damn movie, and then at the very end, he's like, I'm going to go back and change everything.
But Deadpool is a comedy.
No, I
Deadpool 2 is a
know, I
comedy.
get it. I love that. Don't
Neverending Story is not a comedy
I
unless
know,
you like
but-
Neverending
horses.
Story
Again, I
is
just
a-
go back to the fact that nothing matters.
It's a moralistic story trying to tell you to use your imagination and don't get sucked into passively watching television and video games. To like read and then make up your own stories and be engaged. And if you do that, then you can create any world you want to.
Also, when you
the
finish-
purpose of the movie.
When you finish reading a book, even if the things that happen in it are bad, there are no consequences to having read the book. Like the story
Exactly.
ends and you are safe
Nailed
from
it.
Yeah,
Did they?
Good job, Aaron.
you're welcome.
Am
I also
being
have that
too
book.
definite?
It's a good
Does it have an
question. I don't
Orin
know.
on the front of it?
It does. Well, not like that. It doesn't have like the cool. I always wanted a book that
I
had one
always
of those
wanted
on
that
it.
too. Wicked Person says, my sister canceled the Disney Channel years ago because her daughter had picked up the bratty tone of the channel's child protagonist.
I wouldn't have known what you're talking about. My children are taking a deep dive into early aughts Disney TV shows.
Uh-oh.
And there are just some that I cannot stand when they're on the TV.
Really?
Like
I'm
some
not
of them
even
are
sure,
okay, but some of them are just like, whoa, girl, you can't watch this anymore.
Right.
Well, like, I mean, I don't know. I literally don't. I mean, my kids were too old by then, so I don't know.
I mean, I don't remember all the names. Like there's shows like Jessie, and then there's shows like Witches of Waverly Place, which aren't terrible. They're just a little weird, and they feel like kids shows. But you know, I'm trying to think if there's this one where everybody's dancing, like it's a dancing oriented show, and everybody's
okay.
part of like a dance troupe, and every week it's about like
I don't
Wait,
like
go back up. Go
it's
back up.
not great.
I didn't miss one.
No, it was Midnight's Edge was saying something.
Hmm.
Go back up. Go back up.
He says she's got a point. So whatever he
Okay,
says, I agree with.
Okay.
Stand By Me.
Okay.
Yes, Stand By Me is
yes,
we brought
that's
that one
another
we
movie
talked
we
about
don't
that
have.
one,
But
yeah.
yes, it's
Stand By Me is definitely a kid movie, but again, that one's also a grounded film because it's like we're gonna go for a walk in the woods to find this thing we heard was out there somewhere.
so Stephen King does a great job with kids as protagonists in his writing. And so you get things like Stand By Me,
Pet Cemetery.
Pet Cemetery, the one that I just talked
That's
about
not
that the
fair.
Hunger Games kind of stole from, which is called. You
I wouldn't
guys
go down
yell it
to
out.
Michael's house and talk about the Mandalorian.
It's
I
not
just
the-
wouldn't. No.
It's like it's not the Green Mile. It's like the Long Mile or the Long something. It's about.
Oh,
these
you made it
kids-
go right out of my head.
Yeah,
know what
you
I'm
said
talking- it's in
you
the
literally
Bachman
said it
books.
right before we started. And I don't
Yeah,
remember.
it's
Yeah.
not the Green Mile. It's
But it's like that. But yeah, he writes a lot of great kid protagonists because I think that's sort of something that's scary. Even Carrie is kind of at that point because she's right at that age of becoming a woman, becoming an adult. And even though she's played in the movie by someone who is probably in her 20s in the book, I always sort of read her as a little bit younger than that. So anyway, Michael Hinkson says, good morning, RetroBlasting crew from a cold and sunny Reno, Nevada. Happy to be celebrating my birthday weekend with you. Happy birthday,
Happy
Michael.
birthday.
Oh, that also reminds me. Today, I
It's
believe
not your birthday.
Today is George Aitken's 50th birthday.
Wow,
So,
George.
happy birthday, George! If
Well
you're
done.
on,
Big
if you're
one.
on the stream,
That's a big one.
That
Yeah.
is.
well done.
and happy birthday, Mike.
I am right behind you.
Snell World says The Karate Kid 2 is a better movie than The Karate Kid.
I kind of agree with you on that.
I actually do too.
I will definitely say Cobra Kai is better than.
And have you watched
either
season
of-
3 yet?
No.
No, I haven't even finished season 1.
It's the best one.
Good,
It's
'cause
okay.
Season two
Yeah,
was
season 2 I did not like of Cobra Kai. Well,
liked
parts
it.
of it. But season 3, I watched the whole watched the whole thing last weekend. It's awesome.
all right. We'll give it a run. We'll get through it.
Midnight's Edge says, yeah, Monster Squad, Stand By Me, The Wizard, Space Camp, and Critters.
Yes,
Camp is a
I
good
said
call.
critters.
I said Space Camp when we were
Yes.
talking too, although they are teenagers.
Space Camp, though, even though they're teenagers,
Michael,
that
we
is
get
a
it.
fuck.
They can't fly a spaceship into space, so you hate it. I get
Well, no,
that-
we
why
get
you
it
don't
because
like it.
even as a kid, I was like, why would you ever put kids inside a space shuttle?
to get
Right.
rid of them.
Period.
To get rid of them.
Um,
Because we don't like them.
And
then-
for us that lived in Huntsville, we knew that's where space camp was, and there was no shuttle launches there. And
My favorite.
No, they
kid-
were depending a lot on what you didn't know
Yeah.
going into that. And the other thing that's weird is I remember being a little kid in Huntsville and walking under the first stage of the Saturn V
Oh, and
booster.
it's just
And I remember
ginormous.
thinking, even though like inside my head, I knew there's no way that thing was full of fuel and could go off at any time. But just standing underneath those rocket bells was kind of scary because you knew that, like, in a different version of reality, you would be incinerated instantly if someone hit the wrong button. Right. So it's like just standing under it and looking up was just kind of like a daredevil thing for me.
Wicked Person says, Michael, did you, like me, check out when they had a kid like Jason Bateman as the guest star on shows like Knight Rider as like computer geniuses, etc.?
Yeah,
That was-
I did.
So
that was always
Doogie
dumb.
Howser, not your favorite show, right?
Nope. Did not like Doogie Howser.
But what a great theme song.
Wasn't big on the MacGyver episode where he helps the girl who's the computer genius, who's like, but when Midnight's Edge brought up Stand By Me, it reminded me, my favorite, actually, I still have not bought it, but my favorite kid movie, bar none, is The Sandlot.
That is a good.
And I don't even like sports. I don't like sports.
No, but
I
The
like kid
Sandlot
movies.
is
not
good
really a
because
sports
it's,
movie,
No,
though.
it's not. It's more of being a kid.
It's
in
kind
the
of a
neighborhood.
Goonies-ish
Yeah, it
movie
is.
without the
The,
Willy Wonka.
I guess the only
crazy-
supernatural element is that dog.
Yeah, but it's more of
I'm not trying to
But that's
take
how
over
we.
from it.
But as a kid who grew up in a neighborhood who
I'm
had a
not
guy who fought dogs
criticizing
Yeah.
it. I'm not
and
criticizing.
had a pit bull that would attack you. I mean, that whole scene of the over exaggerated head going.
Yeah.
"Ugh," I mean, that's how we saw it as kids,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We were
yeah.
like,
Here's a great kid movie, Milk Money.
oh,
I do remember that movie.
I do
Yeah.
not.
Come
I have
on.
no idea.
come on.
Well, they are bike riding kids.
Yeah.
They
And
are-
it is, and he has like a tree house, and it's like a whole thing. What about the one with the kid who found, was it Mel Gibson or somebody?
What
like,
about the
who was
kid
who
found Mel
frozen
Gibson?
and like thawed out, and like he was like,
Forever
from
Young?
That
That's still a Mel Gibson movie. It's not a kid movie. I mean,
wasn't the kid the main.
not on the
brain
poster. On the
story?
poster, Mel Gibson's head was the size of New York.
Yikes!
Empire
That
State
sounds
Building.
Do you guys remember a movie, and I don't know if this falls in the category, called Ruskies? Ruskies. It was.
Yeah,
I don't really remember it. I just remember seeing it because the daycare I went to as a
I
kid
think I
had
do
a
remember
wall
that.
the size of your toy studio that was just VHS tapes, and like sometimes I had free reign, and I just go in there and pluck stuff.
Right.
So I ended up seeing like rated R movies. I have no idea why they were there, but
Aaron was 14 and just was in the daycare pulling movies.
yeah, which was super weird.
I'm kidding.
Scott says, conceptually, does Frodo count as a kid hero? In Hobbit terms, he was basically a teenager, and he started from a place of being very inexperienced and naive.
This is where we get into the Harry Potter argument for me. All right, so let's take that and just say that Frodo was a preteen by Hobbit definition. I don't know if he actually was, but let's just take it there, okay?
I mean, he was in his 30s, but
Frodo,
keep talking.
Frodo, and Harry Potter and the kids in the Golden Compass.
Frodo,
They're
Baggins.
all growing up in a completely different reality world environment. Yeah,
Right.
I know that they're hiding from the real world, but they grow up from the moment they're born in a wizarding world. Like
Except for Harry.
they go to wizarding school and they've never been outside of a wizarding life there, except for Harry, but he should have been. So
But he wasn't. It's relevant.
but he wasn't. But he all right, so because they're in their
It's
own
just a fact. Sorry, Michael. I'm not trying to completely derail you.
because they're in their own reality that's apart from mine, then I can buy it. The kids growing up in a neighborhood in Goonies, a kid growing up in LA with Terminator, a kid growing up in LA with Karate Kid, a Home Alone kid, they're all Flight of the Navigator especially. They're all
You just have
He
They're-
really doesn't
they're
like that
all
movie.
established as being in our world.
right.
Harry Potter in its own
Down
way.
here, it's our time, but up there, it's
It's-
their time.
It's
Up
their
there,
time.
they say, I am good. Okay. So Harry Potter is its own world. Golden Compass, its own world. Lord of the Rings, its own world. So the rules don't apply. Whereas I'm in this world. So if you tell me that this story is also in this world, and then you start breaking the rules that I know, barring Mr. Miyagi training the kid in 4 weeks, then I'm like, you're really losing me. You're losing me. As a child, you are losing me.
Yeah,
I totally
don't
get that.
disagree
I
with
know
How
that
about
people are sick of me
Annie?
saying
I know
it.
we haven't like that's another one where I mean, yeah, that's a musical, but like nothing completely supernatural happens in that.
aside from spontaneously breaking into song every 10 minutes. But
Or
yeah.
you
That's
know,
something that I do.
the guy who makes things fly.
Yeah.
What was his name? I can't remember his name though.
Also, suddenly having a wealthy
Pinja.
benefactor.
Mm-hmm.
That never happens.
Is it
I don't.
Pinja?
I can't remember. It's some-
Punjab?
I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Like his body man, the one who
Yeah,
was
where
always
he
yeah,
made
following
things
around.
fly. And
I did not remember he had that mystical
Yeah.
Far Eastern power. It's so
Yeah.
awkward. I
It's
wish I didn't
super
remember that.
cringy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Good idea. Give me another
Johnny
martini.
Quest.
Plastic Galaxy, thank you for the super chat that just says 10.0.
thank you.
I mean, I don't think that 10 was a very kid-friendly movie.
Well,
probably not.
I
It's
mean,
better than 7.
Depends on what part of your development you were in.
I mean,
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
That 1 and 0 was just sort of scribbled on that.
So, what do you think of
blank tape.
Pokemon?
Huh?
What about Pokemon?
That was a cartoon.
Nathan-
though.
Cartoon.
Nathan
was
Cloud-
eventually a movie,
I'm sorry, I
but-
got super chats, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Nathan Cloud says Dark Crystal ?
That's a good one.
Not only is it in its own world, they're not human, so it kind of.
Yeah, I don't
never
think of them
affected
as
me.
being a kid. It's not. It's for kids, but I don't see
Right.
it as.
As being a children-led,
Yeah.
like story.
It's
Kids
not the
are gonna
vibe I
get
get
talk
from
about
it
the
anyway.
black
Ratnick
collar.
says Heavyweights with Ben Stiller.
You know, I've not seen that. It looked
Haven't
funny
seen it.
though.
I have seen.
I remember it there, but I don't remember seeing it.
I've seen Sidekicks.
I mean, there
with
are a
Chuck
lot
Norris.
of movies that
Mhm.
have
Yeah, I
kids
forgot
in
about
them, but that doesn't mean that it is a kid-centric movie. It's like
Where the
over
kid's
the
the hero.
top, and Dutch have kids in prominent roles, but Stallone and what's his name are the stars of those movies.
What about the toy?
with Rob. Oh no, not. Oh,
But
you're-
Richard Pryor is
Yeah.
the star.
I
True.
don't know, but it's more about the kid and where the kid ends up.
But
at the
Richard
end.
Pryor was the driving influence to get everybody into the theater for that. It'd be
Yes.
like, what about Willie and the Chocolate or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Is that a kid-centric hero
I think
movie?
so. He is the hero.
Yeah, Charlie.
Is he still in the later one with old Johnny Depp in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Charlie
say he
Bucket?
is.
Yeah.
Even
He's
though
all right.
Johnny Depp has all the attention on
I'm
him.
not saying
Yeah,
it
that's
makes
where
it a
I
good
think
movie.
that's where I'm
just-
thinking you're starting to see that convergence of like the big named adult is actually the draw to see the movie for some people rather than the story of the kid.
I guess to me, if there is a prominent adult role,
You guys had to bring up the Chocolate Factory.
then it
Do you have to
just
go to the bathroom or
No, he needs his moon pie.
yeah? Well, no, he's gonna get the movie. I think.
I just don't. I feel like if there's a prominent adult role, then the movie is probably not a kid-centric movie. Like the kid is probably not the
But
main
just for the
character.
record, Charlie and the Chocolate
It's
Factory,
not
as
always
written,
true.
is
Golden
about
Compass, but
Charlie
Yes.
Bucket. It is a kid-driven her hero movie. I'm not saying that the story is not. I was just curious about how the actor choice influenced that, because you had two very big stars in both the old and the new version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
yeah, but to me, the story of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is about him in both movies going
Mhm.
through and facing all these obstacles or these temptations or
Yes.
whatever you want to call it, and then he doesn't ever
And he becomes
give in
Yeah.
to like
He is the hero of the
he's
story.
the hero.
Yeah.
It is about his choices and he has his own agency, meaning he can make his own decisions.
He literally just got a chocolate.
So
where was
Yeah.
those?
Prime Syndicate
Yeah, that's
says
the
Private
Probably wouldn't like
Reserve.
Prime Syndicate says
One there, okay. Uh-huh.
Morning Crew, anyone seen BMX Bandits or Frog Dreaming, aka The Quest or Go Kids, two Australian
Oh
kid
yeah,
actors?
I love BMX Bandits. Nicole Kidman's first movie.
Yeah.
I wish I had the Blu-ray of it, but it's out of print and it's worth a fortune. But I would love to have BMX Bandits in my library. I love that movie.
They'll probably come out with a special.
I've never heard of the
version,
other
so-
movie that you're talking about, but that must
No
be
golden
Quest.
ticket. Dang it, I lost again.
Why do you expect a golden
Really?
ticket to be in a Hershey bar?
Because chocolate. You want some?
Wicked,
No, he lives in that.
Wicked
universe.
Person
like dark
says
I
when
do,
I
but
oh my
sorry.
god.
Sorry.
We do it to them. It's fine.
I know, but this isn't me. This is me reading as
Oh, fine, go ahead. I
Wicked
get it. It's
Person
different.
says,
It's
when I was a kid, I read the Oz books as adventures. As an adult, I tried one and was like, no, yuck. Frank L. Baum thinks the kids and his depictions of them are adorable. Stephen King doesn't idealize how kids talk and act. I feel like that's true, that Stephen King writes kids like real kids are.
Yeah,
and
but
they
let's be-
talk like their adults talk. So
Let's-
whoever their parents are, the kids will mimic
Right.
that
That's
way. of
right.
Yeah, but
talking.
let's also remember that L. Frank Baum was writing 100 years ago.
Yeah, that's
So
also
the whole way
that
you
is
write-
also true.
You know,
Yeah.
There was no childhood back then.
there what? No,
No, you weren't
But
8
to be
years
fair-
old. You were like starting your own family.
Yeah.
To be fair,
so-
Stephen King was writing 40 years ago.
So
So
the
there's only about 50, 60 years difference.
Maki
between.
Shepherd says the Mighty Ducks.
It's
I,
awkward, isn't
I
it?
still feel like
No, those
Emilio
are kids.
Estevez is the star of that movie, though. It's
Oh,
about
not by the second one though. By the second one, it's all focused on the kids. Emilio's not even in the movie more than like.
I've
2
only seen the
seconds.
first one.
Oh, okay.
I'm
the
not-
second one's where they get the scholarship to go to school at the big university and
You know,
private school, and then they have to beat the varsity team. And
Tim, I'll back you up on that one. But I felt more inspired by the kids in Mighty Ducks
yes,
than I did Emilio Estevez
Yeah.
overcoming his alcoholism or whatever it was that he was dealing with. Not picking on anyone who's doing that.
Midnight's Edge says
Speaking as a
Billy
child
was
who was
actually
watching it.
meant to be younger in Gremlins. Of course, that changed a lot from the original script.
I think it would have had to.
I can see that you would have. I can see why it would work as him being younger, because that would be the type of kid you would actually get a cute little creature for,
Right.
as opposed to a teenage
I always
boy.
found that a little weird.
But
Weird flex.
but it's what, an R-rated movie, right? So
Is
it's
it?
it's at least PG-13. It's a
Yeah,
horror
I think
movie.
it's
It was
PG-13.
kind
I
of
think
scary,
it's 13, and I
and
think
so
that was one of the. I think it was one of the first PG-13s,
it's
or it was
just
the movie that
or that
prompted
was
it.
the impetus
no,
for.
that was your
Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom.
Yeah, I know.
But I think it was involved in the politics of
Because they all came
creating-
out about the same time.
How about I just go look for the thing and
Yeah, I'm
settle the score?
Everybody is going to be like falling
Oh,
down by the
gosh.
time.
not gonna be cross-eyed.
Lio Convoy says, I want a Home Alone sequel that shows Kevin grew up to be an assassin, because let's be honest, he hunted those men. I think Macaulay Culkin would totally be down for that.
I
Like,
think you would too.
I love. Do you guys see him on
Can
like
you-
Red Letter Media? Like he guest stars on some of the best of the worst and stuff like that. And if you haven't seen it, there's an episode where they watch Home Alone 4 or 5, one
The
of the
one that he's
really
not
late.
in?
Well, no, he's not in a lot of them, but this
Right.
was
He's
like
only in 2.
direct
The
to
one with Frank
video.
Stewart.
It's really
French
bad.
Stewart, you said?
And so
Oh,
he
dear.
is so funny when he's talking about this movie.
Okay,
like-
so can you imagine that, like, he's the assassin, but the way that he takes people out is he beats them to their own homes and he rigs them with traps. So it's these people coming into their own home, and Macaulay Culkin is like hiding around every corner with like paint buckets, and you guys aren't following. Okay, anyway, well,
There was an exchange. I don't know if anybody saw it on the internet a few months ago where somebody said something to the effect of who would win in a fight between Kevin McAllister from Home Alone and the Predator, and the first comment was, question, how much prep time does Kevin get? I thought you'd find that funny. You didn't even react.
It's funny. Sorry.
okay.
think about it, Kevin
Attack of the
McAllister.
Clones fan right here.
Think about it, Kevin McAllister, but with a Lowe's card. Nobody stands a chance.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to steal a toothbrush this time, you guys. Sal says, you have Sandlot now, Michael.
Oh,
Oh boy.
Sal, that's very kind of you. You shouldn't have done that, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Zantara
Yes,
says,
Time Bandits.
I saw Time Bandits as a child. It haunted me for years. Saw it again
Oh,
in
love
college
that
with
movie.
adult eyes and thought it was awful. P.S. King Book, The Long Walk. Thank you, The Long Walk.
Time Bandits is almost like Terminator 2 in the sense that it's so bizarre that it smoke screens anything that it's almost like watching an art fantasy film, and so I don't.
It's
quite-
Gilliam. It's Gilliam. The thing, like,
Yeah.
I saw it as a kid, and he's right. It is very haunting, especially the parts early on where the night, the room, the walls just like expand out, and the night comes riding in and kind of kicks off all that part of the story. That stuck with me for a while. And there were sleepless nights where I was looking at the corners of my room to see if they were
Right.
moving away or getting closer.
Keith asked if I liked Fairuza Balk and Return to Oz. Yes, I did. And if we
Yes.
had it on in the
do.
library, is it?
It's right
Is it?
there.
Oh, cool.
It's right funny.
How about that?
Bum, 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 bum.
She's like, I didn't lose anything. I actually got what I wanted.
Dennis says, I think I have one, Michael. Get behind Empire of the Sun because it has World War II planes.
Oh, I didn't think about Empire of the Sun, but I watched that a lot as a kid.
Here's the thing about Empire of the Sun.
He doesn't like it.
World War II is a great setting for my interest. So when I'm watching a
Come and see.
So when I'm watching that's that one.
Yes, we should
That
have put that on
one-
the table.
When I'm seeing a World War II setting, and suddenly the movie's like, it's gonna be focused on this kid the whole time, though. I'm like,
Well, Come
Because-
and See was focused on a kid, and
but again, like Terminator 2 or Come and See was just like, hey, there's this kid, but you have no idea
Boom.
what we're about to do.
Boom.
Yeah, it's like, oh God. You know, Empire of the Sun is a very well crafted movie. I do not think it's a bad movie. I'm saying my personal hang-ups with some of these types of films keep me from plugging into them. I'm not trying to say that Empire of the Sun is bad. It's a very well crafted movie. I've seen the whole thing twice-ish, but it's not something that I terribly want to revisit, mainly because when I watch a World War II movie, I want to see, you know, other aspects of the conflict.
Rather than just sort of like the day-to-day in the camp where he
Right.
was and some of that other stuff. I can see kind of the most exciting parts of that movie for me were the leading up to the fall of Hong Kong
right.
and that
Yeah.
actual separation.
Yeah.
And then around the time that he meets the boy and they make that friendship around the Zero. Because I
Right.
always thought it was weird he was obsessed with the Zero anyway.
Right.
But it's sort of like those bookends to the movie are kind of where all the action is, and that bit in the middle is just a little bit like, okay, now what are we character building?
Yeah.
I'm ready for a little more.
And I get that, like, give the movie props for not having the kid be like part of some overwrought, you know, prison escape, because obviously that might not happen. But at the same time, I'm going, I wish he would try to escape, because this is getting monotonous, you know. But like, I get it; it's a very well crafted film. As an adult, I do appreciate what he did with the movie. It's just not my bag.
Oh, you
okay.
got another one.
Prime Syndicate says BMX Bandits on DVD. On its way to you. Wilson Frog Dreaming 2.
Whoa.
Wow. Thank you.
Whatever. Don't mention any other movies you don't.
I
have.
know, right? I'm just gonna. I feel so bad when it's like, oh no.
Raymond says another film along the lines I mentioned that I remember is Red Dawn. Thoughts?
Those
Is that more teen?
Teens and
Teens and
early
early
20s.
I almost brought it up earlier, but then I couldn't think of a child who was in that.
Well, I think the actors were definitely older, but they were meant to be much younger. Like it was very much one of those where you were supposed to have a range of ages, like some really young, but they're looking up.
so you had
to
the high school Big Brother, but then
There
you
we go,
had-
and you look to them as they are in charge because they're just older. You know, that hierarchy kind of thing, and I think it did a really good job. But
whereas Lord of the Flies
oh man,
is
Midnight's
young
Edge
kid.
says that I think he's talking about your Mighty Ducks. He says that's part 3 you're thinking of. Part 2 was the Olympics.
oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, I stand corrected. Yes, I was thinking of part 3.
Robert Finnerty says the Bloodhound Gang from 321 Contact on PBS always made me wonder how 3 kids could be detectives and bust adults. Granted, 2 of the 3 were older kids. I mean, that's almost on par with like Harriet the Spy, where she's like got her little notebook and she's writing stuff down about what she observes. And like, I remember as a project in school, I got this thing where it's like, pretend you're a private investigator and like you go and like just watch people at a shopping mall or somewhere that's a public place and try to like figure out as much as you can about them just from watching their behavior and stuff like that. And so, I mean, I think that's something a kid can learn to do. Like, I
Yeah.
buy it.
It
for
sounds
sure.
like a useful skill.
when it comes to Red Dawn, I did want to bring up that the only preteen character on this table that I can see wielding a Kalashnikov at full auto is Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. Everybody else would not be able to handle it.
Very true.
Wicked Person says Mighty Ducks a rehash of Bad News Bears.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's a great comparison.
with the venerable
That's for sure.
Walter Matthau.
Oh, and he is venerable.
He is venerable.
I would say again, the Mighty Ducks was, of course, the Disney version of the Bad News Bears.
Don't they now own Bad News Bears?
think
'cause
they do
bought
now,
Fox?
but-
What do they not own?
This is true; they own everything.
Vigilante Williamson says Sixth Sense.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's
Yeah.
a very good one.
I so wanted to wiggle out of that when you said that, and I was like, he's got me. Checkmate. I can't.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah, I mean he is definitely. I'm afraid to say why he's the main character because people will get mad and say
Oh, I
I'm
know.
spoiling
It's
the
the-
movie.
it's like
22-year-old movie.
It's like
ultimate
how old is that
spoiler.
movie?
alert!
The ultimate.
How
For a
many of you guys
25-year-old
figured it
movie?
out before the moment in the
suspected,
movie?
Like 5 minutes in.
I was glad to have it verified.
Vinkman says Aaron Man tried his best to face off against Jupiter Man, But then Jupiter Man gave Aaron the stink eye with his giant red spot, and he lost it.
And it literally would be a stink eye.
You know, when he
it's
says
Are we
Aaron
seeing the
Man,
end?
sulfur, I think.
Are we seeing the end of Iron Man? Is this like the Superman Falls comic?
when I see
that where we are
him
in the
say
arc?
Aaron Man, all I think of is an Office Space where he's like, "Hey, Peter Man, turn on channel 11."
Hey, Peter Man.
I think it's a
Hey,
play on
Peter
Florida
Man.
Man. Like you have Aaron Man. It's kind of like Florida Man.
Sure.
Aaron Man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You are the Arid Man.
But it's
You
all
are
it's
I
all
just-
based on
I
I
pretentiousness
just saw
and
somebody
coffee.
mention The Professional. I think Leon
Oh, yeah.
is the main character. However, I do say that girl who could be
She's
a
the
lot of
other.
age.
She's
She
the
is
other
the-
lead.
It's
other
just a very
lead, so,
disturbing
yeah.
movie.
Yeah. No, that's a really good one. So I take back what I said, or add on to what I said. Sandlot and The Professional,
which we do have.
which we do have, are my two favorite movies.
I think
with-
it's even actually called Leon the Professional.
now it is
isn't
because it's the full cut.
Oh,
the-
okay,
the
yeah.
international.
So it's
cut.
like-
yeah. And
Prozac Man says Prozac Man. Prozac Man says Cloak and Dagger, the spy film with the kid from Flight of the Navigator.
I thought about that, but I wasn't sure.
what's it called again?
Cloak and
Cloak and
Dagger.
Dagger.
Oh, Cloak and Dagger. Well, that's not the kid from Flight of the Navigator. It's the kid from E.T. It's Henry Thomas. That is a cool movie that I owned on VHS.
Is it Kid Hero? I don't know.
It is a kid. It's definitely Kid Hero. It's definitely Kid Hero. But it rides that line like Goonies does,
Yeah.
where it's a grounded situation that it's very, very unlikely a kid would find themselves in. But it's not a Alien or a Terminator or Ghost or anything like that. We're gonna go look for the ghost. Like it's
Even though Scooby Doo.
All I heard was Terminator Ghost.
Hmm.
Yeah.
shut your mouth.
Ghost in the Shell. Ghost of the Machine.
Eric says Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, we just
We
brought
were
up-
talking about that. Yeah.
Lord of the Flies is definitely
It's not a hero movie.
It's not a hero movie. It's a movie about realistically what kids would do to one another if there was no adult supervision.
Woo! Yeah.
Sal says two things. Number one, I've been saying that Macaulay would make a fantastic Batman villain, Joker, or Scarecrow. And two, Lord of the Flies, yay or nay? I mean, Lord of
Timely.
the Flies.
It's definitely
Yeah.
rates, yeah, for sure.
Midnight Sedge says The Outsiders. Isn't that?
Oh, that's the
Aren't
one
they
with
older?
Machio and
They're older though.
They're a little older. Although I think that was one of those things like you're talking about where Machio was basically in this
Yeah.
and Outsiders at the same time
Yes.
playing
a much younger role
Yeah.
than what they actually are.
Bjorn says Small Soldiers,
Small Soldiers is kind of like Indian in the cupboard.
and
where
that's
you have-
the next one on here. Nathan
Yeah,
says.
you've got a kid who realizes his toys have come to life.
I do love Small Soldiers.
So we got to throw in the Narnia movies along with that.
Yes, Narnia for sure.
Yeah,
Lion,
It
the
was
Witch, and the
just a
Wardrobe.
we
book.
don't have.
Narnia.
We don't have. Yeah, and there's another.
I love the first one. I did love the
First one's pretty solid.
I just
Bell
don't
Book and
like
Candle. Is that?
that. Bell
what?
Book and Candle's the Jimmy Stewart movie about witches.
I don't know. I'm thinking of
That's
some.
the one.
Wasn't it
where-
also a
Bedknobs and
band?
Broomsticks.
Bed
Bed
knobs
knobs
and
and yeah,
broomsticks.
That's what I was.
that's
I get those two confused.
that's what's her name. That's
We're gonna go
Sorry.
find.
the hero.
We're gonna go
Jeez.
find a witch. Well, be sure to bring your bed knobs and broomsticks.
Well, I just got to get my proton pack here,
Oh.
and we're gonna.
He would have been a great
Oh, he'd have
Ghostbuster.
been awesome. He'd have been awesome as a Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
And we're off.
Yeah. We should sleep here tonight. To try it out.
Try it out.
Looks
So
great.
I
What
didn't
did you
realize
do,
that
Jimmy?
Ian
What did you do?
Fleming. I didn't realize Ian Fleming wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Like I think I've known it
He wrote that?
off and on. Yeah, it's even in the jacket of his
I
books. It
did
says,
not know that.
Books for adults. You've got all the James Bond, and then it's like book for children.
I had no
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
idea.
Yeah.
Timothy Ward goes, he was already dead. There's your spoiled ending. God bless you, Timothy Ward. God bless you, everyone.
He's like, this is like how you moderate nuclear reactors.
Yeah.
Moderated chat.
Yeah. Ward, I am like,
That is yes.
That's hilarious.
Salute
So
to you.
I'm glad you brought this up, Melinda, because we own that movie
You're
on
welcome.
Blu-ray, Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
It's not
we
bad.
we own it because I grew up watching it, and
I've clearly never seen it.
again, it had an
Angela
active.
Lansbury was the hero. Though.
Yes, but it also had an active World War II element in it.
Yes, it did.
That was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And it has the greatest line delivered by a preteen kid that doesn't age well for all the right reasons.
Oh no!
Oh no!
You ready
I
for
can't.
it?
Yes.
I can't wait, Michael.
Yes.
For it?
I love Melinda's
Oh,
face.
this-
Melinda's
Scared.
face is priceless.
This is a
Scared.
priceless line in a Disney movie, all right? Said by the youngest kid in the cast.
I'm sure it'll be
And
fine.
it does not age well hilariously. Ready? I'm going to mimic him as best I can. 1.
Get on with it.
What's this got to do with my knob? Tell me that's not the greatest line ever.
That is a good line.
It
I'm gonna
sounds
go
a
get the
little.
movie and put it on the table.
It sounds a little different. I just remember how like anxiety causing the unexploded V2 rocket in the front was like the unexploded ordnance that they all had to deal with. Nobody remembers that part of this movie.
I've never seen it.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
I was thinking of what was it? Nanny McPhee.
I was not.
Because remember she had the unexploded.
Nope, never seen
ordnance.
that either.
So
Wicked Person says people aren't asking about movies that aren't on the table to complain about it, but because they're considering sending them to you? ?
no, it's all good.
Please don't do that.
UPS is on high alert right now. They're just like, oh no, they're doing another live stream.
Our post office just went. Scott, literally, we've had multiple conversations with the people that work at our post office, and they're like,
Yes.
"So, what is it that you guys do?"
I guarantee Michael and Melinda have been investigated by the Postal Service at
The
some
last
point or
time, the
another.
guy was like, "Oh, I gotta check that out." We like give him our card and stuff like that. I hope you're watching, dude.
Do you guys have cards?
Scott, yep.
You guys
Yeah,
are getting
it's
me,
in
cards?
my
me and
car.
Aaron don't have
we
cards.
we
Yeah.
got cards that just say RetroBlasting. It's
cool.
got.
Yeah, but me and Aaron still don't have cards. I mean,
That's not true.
do we have cards?
We've given you guys. You've passed them out at Dragon Con.
Oh, yeah, but
That's what I'm talking
saying.
about. Well, I don't have one that says Melinda
Why not?
because I don't
Yeah,
want
we don't
anyone
have.
to
I
call
don't have
me.
like one that says Michael French or anything on it. It just says
But-
Retroblast.
Do you have stationery that says from the desk of Michael?
No.
Oh my God. Scott says something that grinds my gears about a lot of kid heroes is glossing over severe trauma. Now that's true.
Yeah.
He says in Cloak and Dagger, Henry Thomas ends up killing a guy and sharing a trunk with his dead friend.
Yeah.
Got to be a big therapy bill for that.
well,
Yeah.
hello, Goonies. He puts it, when Chunk gets shoved in a freezer
Yes.
with the dude with the bullet in
Yeah.
his head.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And you're
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
and everybody's like, ha ha ha.
I also love the fact that in so many of the this is annoying in any movie, but when something really awful like that happens, and then the next scene the character's totally fine and laughing or just whatever, you're just like, something's weird about this.
You know what else it could be? The 80s might have just been really messed up.
Oh, it was.
Well, we did hide a lot of trauma. In the
Yes, we
80s.
did.
It just didn't happen.
So you just take the Hank Hill approach and you just take your pain and swallow it, push it down.
Push it down.
That's right.
Michael,
Kill
go
Bitty
ahead.
Man.
Take Fairuza Balk and return to Oz. She's about to get electroshock therapy
Good
that-
point.
at that crazy hospital, and she gets away, and the next thing you know, she imagines she's on a busted up brick road with a chicken. So I mean, she's
It's like that episode of Buffy where the whole thing is just her being in an insane asylum.
right, but it deals with the trauma in a weird way. It's like, and when it all ends, it's like, well, are you gonna give up the wizarding world by getting your brain right? Or
This could be all a dream.
Peter Venkman says, I always enjoyed Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That was fun.
yeah,
I enjoyed it.
There was only one young kid in that, kind of like with Jurassic Park, where you've got adults with
Yeah,
kids. There was
yeah.
like one young kid who's like the one.
Well, there was two. The two
The
little
one
brothers.
kid was the one kid was a little older though, because he punked the other kid a
Yeah,
lot.
he did, but he was still.
It's
he
kinda
wasn't
like
in high school or anything.
Red
Right,
Dawn,
man.
but fun.
Yeah, and then the daughter and the older kid,
older
they
kid.
weren't old enough to drive yet, but they were
Right.
still like 15. or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
They were old enough to ride an ant.
So
I-
yeah, well,
I grew up with that movie on VHS, so that
and
definitely
sleep in a Lego together.
That's
mean,
right.
That's true.
That's
that
true.
definitely counts. Yeah.
Scuba Pete says, just me, or did you enjoy the fantasy characters more in Labyrinth than Bowie and Connolly? That's just you.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed the Ferding Swamp.
How can you not love Bowie? I mean,
How
it's
can you not love Jennifer Connolly?
Well,
Yeah.
she's good in everything. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that's fine.
I
But
I see what you're saying from
I hate Muppets.
if
so.
you're watching Labyrinth as a kid, the human characters didn't bother me, but I definitely wanted to see them interacting as much as possible with the creatures and the fantasy,
Dance, baby, dance.
Well, I was more into like them with Ludo and the little crazy dog riding a dog, like, or whatever that was.
It's an interesting movie.
Yeah,
we'll say.
I like still shots from that movie. I don't like watching the movie.
Guys, Bowie was a
I
strange
love that.
choice
I love
for a
that
children's
movie.
movie.
He's creepy. That's the thing. He's a creepy choice. I mean, but he did fantastically at it. And I at first was like, oh, his wardrobe was unfortunate. And then everybody was like, no. Part of the stipulation to him to make the movie is he picked out his wardrobe. And I was like, I don't know if that makes me like you more or be really concerned.
Bowie was a strange
So,
choice.
like, I feel like every time I've ever watched that movie, and certainly when I was a kid, I would watch it and I'd be like on board with Jennifer Connelly's character, like not liking the baby because I don't like them, and she wishes it away, and I'm like, yeah, problem solved. Done. Into the
my
movie.
God.
And then like the whole rest of the movie, I'm like, what are you doing?
And the live stream audience plummets by 200 instantly.
Some of you know what I'm talking about. Or
Did
maybe
you hear
I'm
that
alone.
RetroBlasting person talking about she wishes babies would be kidnapped?
That is not even what she said.
I didn't write that movie. I'm just
kidding, I'm
saying,
kidding.
like, my dad made me babysit kids. I hated it. It was the worst job in the universe for me.
Well, Melinda, if it makes you feel any better, I would never let you babysit
Look at
any of
me.
my
Do-
kids.
Would you
I'm just
really
kidding.
let me babysit your child?
Yes, I would trust you with my child's life.
I'm offering you a gift.
Oh my gosh.
I don't.
It's from Labyrinth. What are we talking about here?
He was doing the balls.
Yeah.
thing, you know, with the
Ew.
with the spheres.
The spheres.
Yeah,
I don't
Look at
think
what
you
juggling.
should be around children either.
What's this got to do with my knob?
King Eric says, would my bodyguard qualify? I don't know. What's he look like?
Oh,
But-
Stallone.
Yes.
Over the top. Over
as
the
long
top
as it's
has a
not
kid
Kevin
in it.
Costner, I'm good.
That little wussy kid.
Yeah, but is it
But it's a
him or
Stallone movie.
yeah, it's a
not,
Stallone
The
movie.
kid is just a real.
All I'm thinking of is Whitney Houston.
Why would you think of her?
You're thinking of the Kevin Costner Whitney Houston movie, The
Bodyguard.
Bodyguard.
That's right.
I'm talking about Over the Top
Yes.
with Sylvester Stallone.
Well,
and
he
his
says,
annoying
would
son.
my bodyguard qualify? So I'm assuming that's
No,
a movie.
My Bodyguard, not The Bodyguard. My Bodyguard.
I'm
is a different-
assuming that
Is
that's
that
a
the
movie.
Sinbad one?
I don't know.
Don't know. Not familiar
Jog
with
our
it.
memory.
Yeah,
My
I'm trying to remember.
Bodyguard, I'm seeing flashes, like it's sparking, but nothing's igniting.
Connor says, I'd never seen The Sixth Sense, so decided to rent it out one Sunday to watch. Came home and was watching The Simpsons, and Bart blurts it out.
Wow, got it
Nice.
spoiled by The Simpsons.
Yeah, well,
Ay.
yeah.
I'm
Star
offering
Marvel.
you.
What's the worst spoiler that somebody's ever given you?
The worst spoiler?
Like the worst time, like you've been like so excited about something and somebody totally spoiled it.
The
for you.
Hero of
I know
Ages
you
book
hate that word.
series by I can't remember his name, but he finished the Wheel of Time series. He's the author who finished the Wheel of Time. But there's a book series called The Hero of Ages, and I was listening to a podcast, and it was kind of about it, and they were talking about the books that I'd already read, and then somebody on the show accidentally said who the Hero of Ages was, and to this day I have never finished that book series. I don't even read books by that author anymore. I was so mad I nearly pulled my car over in rush hour traffic and just yelled at the sky.
That is a great example.
Yeah, it was awful.
Spoilers have never really bothered me.
Yeah.
It
just
normally
has
doesn't,
never-
but there every once in a while there's something that you're really like invest like that, like where you've just invested a lot in and you're
Okay, I have one.
okay.
I have one. In college, and again, I'm like Tim. I don't really get annoyed by things,
Yeah.
but in college, I had just gotten the VHS copy because there weren't even DVDs then of the Big Red One, the World War II movie with Lee Marvin and Mark Hamill, and I'd never seen it, and I was like,
The Allies one.
The Allies win.
"That's not what I'm talking
We
about."
ride
Anyway,
across-
it wasn't that kind of spoiler. It wasn't-
sorry.
So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm literally pulling the shrink wrap off of it, and this dude comes into my dorm room because doors, dorms are always open. And he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "I just got this movie. I'm about to watch it." He's like, "Oh yeah, that's the one where Mark Hamill plays the guy who's like, can't manage to, shoot people in combat. He's like a big coward and everything." And I'm like,
Did you just check it?
You just drop it at that point.
I'm
And you
like,
just
"Dude,"
throw it at his head. You just
you know,
chuck it at his
because I
head.
had said I can't wait to see it. I've never seen this before, and he just starts like.
I just
rattling
don't
off the plot.
understand, like, so for me, and okay, I'm about to say a major spoiler from the Harry Potter series. If you
No.
haven't read or watched, just skip ahead a little bit.
Go like this.
We're
La, la,
live,
la, la, la,
Melinda.
la.
They can't go
Okay.
into the future.
I don't. Well, if you're rewatching, you just go la la la, whatever. So my point is, I'm at lunch with these people, and I'm reading the books. Like the movie hadn't come out yet.
So
And
you're reading at
I'm
lunch?
reading. No, I was telling them how excited I
Okay,
was about reading the books. Da 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 da. And I'm telling them I'm on book whatever it was, like 2 or 3. And he's like, "Oh my god, well wait till Dumbledore dies."
That is messed up. That's
and you're like,
severely
what the
messed up.
hell?
And I mean, I don't care about spoilers, but I mean, seriously, that's a dick move. Like,
No, it would be like talking
He's got,
about
like live stream.
it would be like talking
condition.
about, and I'm not going to say what happens, but it would be like Gandalf.
that is
Okay, well.
not.
You do not know
not
how
a horrible
you do not know how
talking about
YouTube
that
defines.
I know
this.
how YouTube works. Star
Um,
Marvel just says $1.99.
I would.
Roll
Smooth.
over.
That's
You're not
smooth.
going to.
I like it.
I would say my biggest disappointment is just when movies suck, and I am the most forgiving person on this table.
So when the movie actually spoils, that's
yeah,
the big
that
spoiler
you know,
for
I, look, I was so excited for Jupiter Ascending. I was like, this is going to be awesome.
I can't figure out why you felt that way about
Well,
it.
it looked so good in
But
the
did it?
the trailer. Yeah, it did. It
Okay.
did. And but then it was just such a horrible movie, and I was so disappointed.
Vinkman says it looked like it was all over for Aaron Man, and when Michael and Melinda wandered into the scene and Jupiter Man began threatening them, this enraged Aaron and turned his terror into determination. Nobody messes with Eminem but me.
What?
I survived. the
Wicked
encounter.
Wicked person says Misty themed cards with YouTube's Melinda and YouTube's Aaron on them. Like TV's Frank. I got it.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. Prime Syndicate says my favorite kid hero is the girl in True Grit. Both versions, but Cohen's is the best.
Oh, you like the Coen Brothers True Grit the best, huh?
I have a hard time
I like,
choosing.
but
They're
I
both
like
really good.
but there's 3 of them, and I like 2 of the. I haven't seen the 3rd version.
So if you get all 3, can you have some?
I d-
So you're not talking about Rooster Cogburn, which is the sequel to True Grit.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are 3 adaptations of True
yes,
Grit.
there's 3 adaptations.
Uh-huh.
There's a really old one that I've not seen. Then there was the John Wayne one, and then the new one, which
Yeah.
the new one was really good.
The new one was really good, but I've never really been gunning to rewatch it. Like
Yeah.
I have the.
I enjoy it. I
have the
really
Jo-
enjoyed it.
I didn't hate it. I have the John Wayne one. I went and saw that one in the theater, meaning the new one.
And this should really make Michael go, huh? Because Tim doesn't like westerns normally, and I really enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
I was wondering about that
Yeah,
myself.
why-
Yeah,
we having
I don't know. I
conversation?
liked it for some reason. I liked her character, the
She's
little
great.
girl in it. I thought was really good, and just the way she,
Which
you know,
one, the new one or the John Wayne one?
both of them, just
Okay.
the
I
way
think
they
they're both
portrayed
really good.
themselves, and
Yeah.
as they are in charge, they are larger than life, and just I like their attitudes, and I kind of like that. I like the whole package of that movie. I just do.
This guy doesn't like westerns.
I am not a fan
but
of westerns.
he is sitting here talking about how much he loves every version of True Grit. I finally begged him. I begged him to watch Tombstone, and he
did.
watched it, and he came back to me, and he was like, "It's okay," and I'm like, "What's
It's
wrong
not
with
bad.
you?"
It's
Like,
not bad at all. I would watch it again.
yeah, dang right you would.
King Eric says, Melinda, what's worse, Muppets or soda pouring?
Am I missing
Um,
something?
She hates the
I
sound
hate
of soda
both of
pouring.
those things.
Oh, you don't like the fizziness of soda
No,
pouring?
it's not a game to play.
Oh no, I mean I didn't I
No,
have known
I-
you for nearly 10 years and I'm just now finding this
She doesn't
out.
like
I don't
mouth
like-
noises.
I don't know. It's,
Oh,
I don't
well, I
like
can
liquid.
appreciate
I
that.
don't like liquid noises either, though. I don't like ice fizzing, and I don't like any of that.
She doesn't like it when people go.
I hate that too. Pretty much anything about drinks, I
Huh.
don't like it.
I mean
That's not true. She doesn't hate everything about drinks.
Shut Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Muppets is more of a slow burn, whereas soda pouring is more acute.
And it can strike any time. Like
And-
you could be at a restaurant with your friends.
Yeah.
You could be like in your kitchen, just minding your own business, and then somebody in the
worst-
kitchen pours a
This
soda.
used to be like the thing, right? So the thing that would send me into a screaming rage would be like I'd have the radio. Remember radio, you guys? And you'd listen to it in your car when you'd go places. Remember going places? You'd go like
This is
somewhere
getting
in
very
your car.
depressing.
Cruising? You
Very
remember when you
fast.
You
cruised?
turn the radio up for that sweet sound and hold that person close and never let them go.
And
keep
then
that feeling alive and make them
an
lose
ad
control.
would come
When you
on.
look in their eyes, they go crazy. Fever's high. Just never let them know. Take them over the edge. Make them lose control.
so
Yeah.
so like an ad would come on and they would be like pouring Coke over ice, and it's like fizzing,
And then you
it's
hear
like-
them
and then they
gulping,
gulp
and then they're
and slurp, and then they go, oh, and I'm like, oh, like screaming in my car, and the people next to me are like, what is happening? And
you want to know what actually drives me bonkers that I hate more than anything else is when I'm watching TV and I know somebody has walked into the room and it's standing behind me.
oh, I
watching
hate
TV.
that.
I will literally get up and physically move somebody
Yeah,
if they do
yeah,
that to
yeah.
me. I don't know why.
I don't like that
It's
either.
just a thing.
That's gross.
It drives me
I
crazy.
don't like
I hate it. I hate it when I'm watching a movie. I hate it when I'm watching a movie
And it's bad.
and I find out that the movie I'm watching is going to center around a kid doing amazing things. And I'm
yeah.
just like, ah!
Yes.
All right, so the answer is soda pouring is worse than Muppets. Believe it or not.
I did not know this about you. I feel weird because I didn't
Soda
know this.
pouring, the musical.
Wicked Person says, fantastic cosplay at Ottawa Comic Con was a couple with a baby dressed perfectly as Bowie and Connolly from Labyrinth. Oh, that sounds cool.
Yes, I've seen a few of those at Dragon Con. They've done that too. And what are you doing?
I want to see how long it's going to take before you move
Like-
me.
I dare you to move me. I dare you.
I don't know that it's people I know that bothers me as bad.
Yes,
Star
people
Marvel.
I don't know standing
you
behind me while I'm watching TV at home always bothers
Can
me.
you really know anyone? But
Star
honestly,
Marvel
well,
says
clearly.
young Sherlock Holmes.
young Sherlock Holmes is
Ugh.
a perfect example of the type of thing that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because, like, look, I don't like young Indiana Jones.
I was fixing to
don't-
go there. I was about to
don't-
bring
I
it
don't
up.
Like young Sherlock Holmes. I don't like James Bond Jr. I don't need that. Superboy. Don't like Superboy.
Hated that.
No, I don't need. Notice they never had a Batboy. They only,
I mean, fundamentally, that's what's wrong with Defenders of the Earth.
Defenders.
Defender.
Shut up.
Defenders of the Earth.
Simon Parkin says, don't tell mom the babysitter's dead.
Good movie.
Great
the
movie.
first thing you should tell
kinda
mom.
teen.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the lead character is Christina Applegate,
Applegate.
and she's
At the
but there
height of
are
her powers.
kids. Same with Adventures in Babysitting, the other babysitting movie. What's her name? Elizabeth Shue is the main character.
Mhm.
Even though there's that cool little girl who is super into Thor back before most people knew who Thor was.
Right. Yeah.
But still cute movies. Somewhere
Indeed.
I have more. Yeah. Teen Wolf is a teen movie.
Yeah, we talked about that one.
Yeah.
Now,
A World Made of Cardboard says, missing the live stream again, just bought a house, and right now I am buying doors. Sad
Is
face.
it-
I
is
want to
it-
buy a toy.
I have to ask,
Is it a doll?
is it made of cardboard?
Most new things for homes are. Just pressed really, really. Go to IKEA. You can
I
get all the
know I
cardboard
missed some
things.
super chats, guys. Don't freak out. I've got to
all
scroll
good.
back because it did that thing where it just flips down all the way to the bottom.
If Scuba Pete is on, we would have been
He
better
is.
prepared today. But Scuba, my aquarium, busted over this past week. Like the seal has separated. I had to evacuate all of my fish to Aaron's house this
Yeah, I
this
took
morning.
in
So we
all
didn't
of
have
Tim's
quite
fish.
as much time to prepare for the live stream today as we would have liked.
Peter Vinkman says, always been a huge T2 fan, but as I get older, Furlong's hair and voice really gets more and more annoying.
Yeah.
It's jarring, man.
It's pretty bad.
Even back
Like,
then, I was like, really, dude?
mhm.
I mean,
Although the hair was pretty cool.
but I feel like
there is no fate but what we make.
Linda Hamilton like makes that movie, but his character is super annoying. He's
Yeah.
super annoying. I always thought he was really
And
annoying.
the
in that
AV,
movie.
they was the ADR.
I'm like, I know why your mom
the
abandoned
ADR
you.
his
Oh
mind.
my god!
What did you just say out loud?
What did she just say out
I
loud?
thought it was funny.
I just don't know what it was.
Tell me what she.
I said, I know why your mom abandoned you.
Oh, okay.
Look,
Listen.
I
Wait.
if you're gonna be a kid and you're gonna be around me, I'm gonna need you to modulate your voice. I don't care how old you are. I know you got like these whole vocal cords are forming thing. I don't want to hear it. You know, when we were kids, we had to talk like adults, so you got to talk like an adult.
You're
Hey, Mom,
fun.
how's Wolfie?
Oh, God.
Your parents are dead.
That's right. King Eric says, my bodyguard, Chris Makepeace, Adam Baldwin. My bodyguard, 1980, Chris Makepeace from Meatballs, Adam Baldwin. He was Animal in Full Metal Jacket. I'm not sure what that all has in common.
To go back. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back.
Well, Meatballs was the summer camp
Yes.
movie, and there were several sequels.
Yeah,
to
let's
that.
talk. You mean you want to talk about inappropriate that doesn't age well?
Well,
I mean,
Yes.
you got Bill Murray talking about hooking up with teenage girls in that movie, and he's clearly
which
an adult.
one? Which one? In what movie?
Meatballs.
Oh, I haven't seen.
Yeah, very creepy.
Yeah.
What's
There's
this
a
got
lot
to do with my note?
There's a lot of things like that where you're just kind of like,
Yeah,
And Adam Baldwin, if I'm not mistaken, I just had to double check, but was Jane in Firefly.
Yes, that is
yeah,
correct.
you know,
I have a picture with him at Dragon Con.
here's a fun one. Do you
Awkward.
guys remember like Winger?
No.
Like aside from just being on Stewart's t-shirt on Beavis and Butthead, like it was a band led by
Yes.
a guy named Kip Winger.
Yeah.
Dang,
Do you
yes,
remember
now
his
I do.
main song was called
Seven.
She's Only 17? Daddy says she's too young, but she's old enough for me.
I do remember
Super
that
problematic, right? But
Oh, why are we going here at this live stream?
just
Why are we
saying.
going here?
Well, Tim brought it up.
Blame Tim.
Throwing you under the bus. Okay.
I don't
Star
think we have
Marvel
a problem agreeing that is problematic.
Star Marvel says The Dirt Bike Kid, Little Spies, and Brat Patrol.
I remember the Dirt Bike Kid.
Yeah, I don't remember Bat Control though.
Those do not sound like things I would watch because you can tell that they are about kids and it just is
Was Brat Patrol that Disney kind of like Sunday movie, Sunday Disney thing?
feels
where
like it.
the kids were all like army brats and they had to build like this
Oh.
fort on base and there was this sort of conflict.
Might be. Yeah.
I remember kind of liking that one as a
What
kid.
was the one with Gary Coleman where he was a Cub Scout
Do not know.
and they get trapped in the cave?
Oh, wow! You were going way back.
And the scout, the Cub Master is a woman. The Cub Master's either Gates McFadden or Aaron Gray.
Okay,
It's really a-
you've triggered a memory.
Uh-huh.
Memories are sparking. Yeah, there's that movie, and then there's another I need the fans to help us with. So yes, I do remember that one because he was obsessed with being a scout.
yeah, it was
wasn't
called
he?
like On My Honor or
something like that. He was
yeah.
obsessed with it. He always
Yeah.
wore his scout uniform
Yes.
no matter what.
Yeah.
And he ends up saving the day because
Right.
he's a scout. I do
Well, he was
remember
prepared.
that. I do remember that movie. I don't remember the title of it. There's another movie that I've been trying to get the title of for years, and you guys need to help me.
The Matrix.
It's a child movie, and it's kind of a child hero movie where they were in, I want to say it was New York. They were homeless kids living in the subway.
Newsies.
No, they were living in the subway, and they started their own. He organized all the kids to start like a luggage business or whatever, and started making so much money. He bought an old train car in the subway and was living in it with his other friends. And then the IRS comes after them, and they end up losing all their money or whatever. And it's all
this
about
is both interesting and boring at the same time.
No, it
It
was
is.
a
It's
wonderful
like
movie.
the
but
bad
it was
guys,
in
the
80s.
IRS.
Sounds
Yeah.
kind of boring.
It was in the 80s, and I cannot remember the name of that movie to save my life.
Samsonite, a success story.
But
Well,
they played it
I might
endlessly
be
on
able to get
HBO.
to the bottom and read the answers if I can get through a few more of these super chats.
Sorry,
So Vinkman
sorry.
says, now that he's found his courage, Aaron Man opened up a can of whoop ass on Jupiter Man. I'm just reading what it says.
I
dude.
know.
And knocked him into orbit. Jupiter Man has ascended.
Yeah, whoop butt doesn't sound quite right.
I
but,
accept that. I accept that.
What?
Listen.
Hey, listen.
Ho.
Stop.
Let's go.
Wait a minute. Listen.
Michael says Melinda must have hated Muppet Babies.
Oh boy.
I didn't though.
I
That's
did.
what's weird. It was animated.
Hated
That's
Muppet
why.
Babies.
Muppet Babies was the
Hated.
mash of Saturday morning cartoons.
but
It was on
never
forever.
ended.
Yeah. It was on for a long time. I just didn't really care about it one way or the other. But A World Made of Cardboard says missing the light. I already read that one. Okay. So let me go back here and. Okay.
Did he post it twice?
Wicked Person says, felt ripped off every time I opened an Archie comic and it turned out to be Lil Archie. Like the Justice League, all being turned into kids or apes.
Oh,
Yep.
God, yeah, boy. And then it turned into all teenage angst about, Raven and Beast Boy and
Like Flintstone
yeah,
kids.
It's like, what
Why?
the? I
Saturday
mean-
Morning Fan says, what about the Ewok films?
Oh, that's a good
Oh, that's
call
a
out.
great call out. The Ewok films are in their own universe.
Yeah.
And even though they are about kids, which lessened my interest, like I want to watch Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. I'm not interested in these kids. I did watch them as a kid, and I was excited to see more Star Wars, if you know what I mean. But
All right, Mr. Brimley.
yeah,
You have to imagine there's a castle on top of the hill.
there's no castle there. What is this?
But we need you to imagine it.
No, there's no castle. What sort of joke charlatan move is this?
It's the right thing to do and the right way to do it. Not imagine.
I'm not going to imagine something that isn't
Hey,
there.
guys, I'm just gonna get stuck under the surface of this water. Y'all just hang out over there.
Vinkman says, can Michael say what's this got to do with my knob as Jimmy Stewart?
What's this got to do with my knob?
It actually sounds like something he would have said in the movie.
Yeah, I was fixing to say the accent, the Scottish accent's way better.
Well, that's the
John
that's the-
Calcano
or a
says,
Cockney.
how do
Yeah.
you guys feel about Mac and Me?
I actually never watched it.
I've never
saw
seen it.
either.
Never
I've
watched
only
it.
seen the
Really-
clips of it.
Never watched
It was an over advertised movie for what it actually was. You talk about a cinematic con. Like people they put
I like what it's done for Paul Rudd's career.
yes for Paul Rudd, but Paul Rudd isn't actually in the movie. He's trolling the movie every opportunity.
I know that.
So
But I
I'm
feel like
saying
that's a
it-
positive contribution that the movie has made.
Mac and Me, they literally took $5 of $100 and made the movie on $5. Then
And
they
then
took
advertised
they
with
advertised
95.
it with $95.
So they're Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oppo says, RetroBlasting crew, I have a question for you. What is your favorite Harry Potter movie?
Deathly
Mine-
Hallows Part 1.
Next.
What did you say?
Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Oh, I don't know. I get them confused. But I'll tell you which one I don't like. What's the one I don't like?
6.
Yeah, I hate
the Half-Blood
6.
Prince.
I hate 6, but pretty much like all the other ones.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
My favorite is Order of the Phoenix because Luna's in it, and it's the first like really quirky, interesting character, and they all finally fight back in that one.
Oh, wait. I know which one I like the best. It's the one you don't like. It's the one with Sirius Black in it. I like that one.
Chamber of
Part 3,
Secrets or something.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
The one with the freeze frame ending?
Yeah.
I don't care.
I just can't stand that.
I like
don't
Goblet
care.
of Fire.
Is
The fourth one.
Which one is the one with Cedric Diggory?
The fourth
one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Goblet
too.
of Fire.
See, I like all of them except 6.
I don't know the titles of any of them, but I like all of them.
But
except
I've
six.
read them all and watched them all numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, who cares? Saturday Morning Fan says Porky's is worse. I don't know what you're talking about, but I know Porky's
No,
I love
yes.
Porky's. Porky's is an underrated movie, and it's not just a TNA movie. It is actually really funny, and I will never forget the first time I actually sat down and watched the whole thing, and I laughed so hard I almost peed my pants because the part where the guy is like running naked through the woods. I swear to you, I laughed so hard I thought I was gonna die.
Nothing
Oh my
funnier
God.
than men running naked through the woods.
I'm telling you, super funny.
Oh, this is a pounder.
All right. Wicked Person, Chuck Berry and Kiss both had songs about teens a year younger, even than that Winger song. Yuck. Yeah, no, that's true for sure.
It was
It was fine in the 80s.
yeah, it's a different time.
I guess so. I mean,
I
someone
mean-
signed off on that.
You know what else is
Jerry
fine?
Lee Lewis married a 12-year-old?
You know what
Yes.
else? You know what else is fine in the '80s? Doing sweet jumps off plywood on a BMX with no helmet on.
Very true.
You know what else was really cool in the 80s? Going to prom and doing a bike dance with each other when you've never even met.
Send me an
Oh,
angel.
wow.
Okay, let's put this
Send
to
me
the
an
let's put
angel.
this to the
I'm
Right
never
now.
gonna look at those actors the same ever again
I would like to-
after you ruined that for me.
what Rad?
What they made
No.
the movie. Michael didn't make the movie.
You ruined that. I've never watched that whole movie. I've never
Rad?
whatever, right?
Do you
Uh-huh.
need to? I mean,
No. Because Michael forced me, because I forced him to watch a lot of things he hates.
I only forced him to watch a scene.
He did, but it was the most cringeworthy thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
hilarious.
Oh, it's totally worth
Yeah.
watching. Seek it out.
Experience my pain.
Seek it out and watch it.
Google Rad, Lori Laughlin, prom.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. So
And-
let me put this to the audience. For those of you who've seen Rad,
Quit shaking floppy disks.
Caravan of Courage.
Yeah, that's the Ewoks.
Oh,
for
somebody-
those of you who've seen Rad, do you think that Crew, the main character, do you think he cheated in the qualifier? That's all I'm going to ask you. You say yes or no. My buddy Tom Burgess firmly believes that Crew cheated in the qualifier. Melinda,
Tom
what do you
Burgess
say?
knows his
I
way
say
around
yes.
the BMX tourney.
I say yes.
Okay, so you say yes. I feel like it's a technicality where he was being innovative, where the rules weren't explicitly stated.
That does sound a lot like
Wow,
cheating
that,
to me.
that does sound like loopholes.
Yeah.
It sounds like I would still beat you up after the race if you did it. Whether it was
And it was the 80s, so nobody cared.
that's right.
as a generation
That's
of
how
people.
we handled it.
All of our heroes in the 80s cheated. Karate,
Okay.
Karate Kid, he kicked
That's right.
Johnny in the face.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but see, here's the thing. I mean, a lot of people make the argument that Daniel is not the hero
Yes.
of Karate
And
Kid.
in
Now
the
they
third
do.
season,
Yeah,
no.
well, they have for
It
years.
comes out in the third season that
Yeah, but in
Spoilers.
in
Yeah.
1984, in 1984, when there was no other Karate Kid movie, that was the hero moment where he kicked Johnny in the face. All right, I have other examples. Luke Skywalker. It was made very clear in the Battle of Yavin, you are not to use magic or the Force to destroy our Death Star. And what did he do? He won by using magic.
Qui-Gon Jinn super like cheats.
You didn't see that sign on a yardstick in the trench right when they flew by that said no magic?
no.
Michael, this is a weird flex.
He actually believes me.
I'm like, what
I
the
feel like
hell?
we're playing that "Don't Get Got" game again.
But thematically speaking, right? Luke had a power nobody else had.
Which is not
So-
cheating.
that's not cheating.
It's not cheating.
It's
But
war,
he doesn't
It's
want
more
to.
cheating
He doesn't
when
want to
Qui-Gon
die.
Jinn does it to Watto.
Yeah,
But in
just
the
straight
grand-
up
He
mind
totally
control.
he totally rips him
But
off.
Watto was already cheating.
Well, so was Johnny and the bad guys in Karate Kid. They were
With the
cheating.
sweep the leg and
They
stuff.
swept his leg and
so
they.
then he kicked him in the face
So
for
it's
sweeping
like
the leg.
tit for tat, right?
Right.
But
Yeah,
I'm just
but-
saying. But
uh-huh.
he literally could have done so many other things as specified in the.
Well, he was clearly an expert. He had 4 weeks of teaching. I mean,
That's just a very good
I'm
point.
just
You
saying.
know.
I'm just saying
Very good
Johnny
point.
cheated first, then he cheated to win after Johnny cheated on him.
Yeah, but aren't we talking
Right.
about a BMX tournament
So
in Rad?
the way I look at it, Luke Skywalker had a very, very
You realize-
unfair advantage.
this Rad led us here. You do. I mean,
Rad leads to all places. All places lead to Rad.
Wicked
I feel like we're
Person-
playing. What is this?
get
7 connections to Kevin Bacon or whatever,
6
6
degrees.
or 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon.
Wicked Person says, Melinda, the meme of Kermit sipping a glass mug of tea. I guess it's still in silent. Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
I don't hear that meme when
I
I,
don't
see it.
I don't hear the slurping.
I hear Kermit.
Why are there so many songs about minors?
Ugh. Ugh. I don't like his voice.
Oh, I'm sorry. So now we have the sounds of drinking, Kermit the Frog's voice, and what was the other
Well,
one?
now do what you got to do.
There's
Just do
so
what
many things that can set Melinda off that we don't always know what it is. I mean, it's kind of a minefield.
Sometimes I haven't even rolled out of bed in the morning, and
Let me tell you, the wonderful thing
It's
about
so
it
hard to be you.
is me and Erin can do something that makes her angry, but she can only really get mad at Michael.
it's called backblast.
Yeah, I've seen that happen at least one time today.
It's called flash burns.
Don't look into the light, Michael.
If you walk around our house, you can see like these black marks on the walls with outlines of me, just like in where
They're like this too.
And
which
it's
is
just
funny.
where Aaron and Tim have been casually having a conversation.
Michael Hinkson says next week on RetroBlasting, obscure 80s songs that people love today.
We loved them in the 80s.
Wicked
too.
person, this is a good point.
Wicked Person says having a Death Star is cheating.
Yes.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yes.
That's a good point. So like Johnny cheated, then Daniel cheated, the Empire cheated, so then
Okay,
Luke cheated.
if Star Wars was all about a game, sure, but it was about a war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basic Extract
not
says
Star
Kirk
Games.
reprogrammed the Kobayashi Maru as in Wrath of Khan. So
But he doesn't.
Well,
think
I've
that's
tried cheating in my adult life, and it's never benefited me the same way. So.
All those pilots on Yavin, if we use the Wrath of Khan analog, all those pilots on Yavin were told this is how it has to be done because they assumed everybody in the room was just a normal human. But what did Luke do? He changed the conditions of the test and got a commendation in a form of a medal for original thinking.
What are you talking about?
I don't
Kobayashi
know.
Maru.
I
Kirk
think he's
says in the
lost
Wrath
that.
of Khan,
Yes.
because his son says you cheated, and he says I changed the conditions of the test. Got a commendation for original thinking.
Yes.
What did
sounds
Leia
like
give Luke?
a
I
loophole.
don't
Gave him a
believe-
medal.
I don't believe in no-win scenarios.
Right.
But what
I'm
has
not
that got to
saying
do
what
with
Luke- I'm
Yavin?
not saying
I
what
feel
Luke
like
did
that's
was
a
wrong.
lot
I'm
of.
saying what Luke did was
I
extra.
don't think we can stop this.
What did I'm still not getting the Luke tie?
Read something.
Matt Film Production says, "Don't
Why the
forget."
hell they have to go down the trench?
I'm messing with you.
Matt Film Production says, "Don't forget, Miyagi lied about Daniel being a black belt and stole one to get him into a tournament.
That's true too.
Despite the fact that you actually need a karate comedy to appoint you a black belt via tests.
Mhm.
Committee, I assume, is what you mean.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
comedy is funny sounding.
Yeah. Point is, Miyagi also lied. But, it's one of those, in a lot of these
I'm still
things,
not
the
understanding the
ends
point.
justify the means is what we're talking
Yes,
about,
yes.
right? Like, so we buy in to these people being the heroes, and so whatever they have to do to win is justified because the other guys are so bad that they must be defeated at any cost. And that's sort of a mentality, whereas someone like Superman probably wouldn't
Doctor Who wouldn't do that either.
do that.
Doctor Who's always like break the cycle.
Yeah. So, I
Even
mean,
though he's one big cycle.
Well, he's more of an erratic, fun-loving cycle. He's not really out to destroy anything.
So if you're
Ray-
not an erratic, fun-loving cycle, then break the cycle.
Yes,
Raymond
correct.
says not only did Johnny cheat in that karate tournament, he should have been disqualified like his teammate Bobby was earlier for doing the same thing.
True. And Daniel should have been disqualified for kicking the dude in the face. And then the third place person should have become the first place
place
person. And he's the subject of that meme where he's like, yeah, third place.
I think
And
we're
he
asking a lot of our 80s movies right now.
We are.
I think we are.
Around.
Never gonna let you down. I love singing that when the girls are trying to clean something in the house and they're like, I can't do it. I'm like, you're the best around. Dad.
Wicked Person says Luke disobeyed a superior who wanted him to use his targeting computer.
Cheated.
It's not cheating. It's just
Look,
obeying
you
a
want to
direct
get on
order.
there. There's so many technical things about the Death Star that I'm upset about.
Nobody
that I
loves
will
Luke
leave it alone.
Skywalker more at this table than me.
I know.
And I am happy to make jokes about him because
You have a sense of humor.
I have a sense of humor.
Why? I like to think I have one. I mean,
I don't.
well, it depends on the day for you.
It actually just depends on the moment. It's like, and the topic. Like, suddenly that makes me very angry.
Wow.
Look, the fact that she's honest about it is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's great living with a human minefield.
You're one to talk.
This is true too.
I mean,
This is
have you guys seen that
Look.
YouTube channel RetroBlasting? Wow.
look.
That guy. Oh my God.
You want to know what's really laughable? Me and Aaron are the reprieve every week that they get.
I just think
It's just sad all around.
I just think Bouncing Betty is like a really great nickname for her
Oh my god.
because you're a minefield. You're boop.
It's a device with which to find mines.
Thunder Robot says Superman did cheat in Superman the movie when he reversed time,
And he was told not to. Yes.
which was a stupid.
You cannot
plot.
mess with humans' time.
He cheated to win. He changed time itself to win, and he was told not to do that.
I always
Hero.
hated that.
By dead people.
Yes. Ghosts.
Were they ghosts?
Ghosts told me not to do that. hey, Superman. Ghosts aren't real, buddy. No, the ghosts told me not to. I can't. You can. Oh, ghosts aren't real. Cool.
That would be like the only thing I do. It's like
Vigilante
reverse
says refs in the 80s allowed more violence. See sports.
Yeah, hockey.
Yeah,
Hockey was more fun to watch in the 80s.
wrestling in the
Wrestling.
80s. And,
Well,
Yeah.
and then if we were involved in sports as kids. I do remember refs allowing a little more in the realm of like backhands, kicks, and punches.
Yep.
It's just so that they were entertained. I
Right.
think
Yeah.
at the little game
Yeah.
on
Well,
Saturday.
here's the thing. I mean, clearly in the 80s, I mean, we were allowed to walk back and forth to school by ourselves. We walked home and unlocked our own doors, fixed our own lunches, our own drinks. All that stuff we
As
did
I
Well,
without.
been kids in the 20s.
We
I was about to
did
say,
all of
Tim
that
was really
without-
good at making a martini.
Yeah, I mean, we all did that without parental supervision. Set our backyards on fire. I mean, we did all of that stuff without parents. But now it's like, what do you mean your child was on the back patio while you sat in the living room and had the door open and watched him? You should have been out there with him the whole time. How dare you? And I'm going, what? What? Huh? You know, I mean, we all survived. We all are here. And even
Sometimes
back then,
there, but for the grace of God.
Yeah,
But,
and
I
we all
mean-
pour one on the ground for somebody. So, I mean,
Frank says, where did that second atomic weapon go after he reversed the Earth?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
that is one of the continuity errors of Superman for sure.
Michael's got it.
Superman stopped it. We just didn't see him stop it.
Right.
Retro Station 1989 says, love the Repro Cop video.
Thank you.
Allie tells Daniel everything above the waist is a point, including the head. Johnny kicks Daniel in the head in the match.
Oh well, then why are they saying that Daniel cheated
I don't know that they did. Who did?
in Cobra Kai? Johnny accuses Daniel of cheating in season 1. He's like, you cheated. You used an illegal move and you won the
Yeah,
you
I
won
don't
the
know.
match.
Well, the crane
Well, that
kick
whole
itself
crane
could have
kick
been
thing was
illegal.
the illegal move, I thought.
So
I don't
he
know
didn't
if it
say you
is.
hit an illegal target. He said you used an illegal move.
Well, I mean, how would they know that move's illegal if it's a Miyagi-Do move and they've never even had Miyagi-Do
Right.
karate in the tournament before?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying.
These are the
Like,
important
this is-
questions. Tune
This
in
is
next
why
week.
Tim is having a hard time with this whole concept right now, trying to figure this out.
All right, well, it is 3:47. I know we only have two things
yes.
to open, but
All
do you
right.
want to go ahead and...
I got it.
Let's do that.
Well, I'll get these off the table.
Map Film Production says, I literally, as a kid in Australia with my cousin in Outback Australia, used to look through cracks in rocks to find snakes really close. How are either of us alive? I don't know.
Well, you're alive because
You're Australian.
Because you're Australian and everything there will kill you.
Yeah.
No.
And you like,
he's
Australians rock.
he's
true.
yes, and he's alive because he did that, because he was trained to look very carefully for the snakes. Lots of Australians don't make it. Although I do have to give a shout out to the Australian who rescued that lady in the ocean yesterday or the day before. It's been all over Reddit, but it's just this video of this lady's out in the ocean and she's like, ah, and out of nowhere you just see this surfer from Australia just run across the beach and dive headfirst into the waves like Aquaman and drag her to the shore. And I was like, Australia.
Blake Romo says that kick is now considered illegal after the fact.
Ah,
Is
all
that-
right.
Well, I mean,
true?
that could happen for sure. Like, it may not have ever been allowed again, even though it was the game or the match-winning move at the time. Mike, nice one. You got that one through.
Frank says, why do people believe Superman reversed the Earth's spin? He flew faster than light and thus back through time. So Earth's spin seems to run backward from his perspective, but its spin never changed.
I've never been good at relativity.
Well, if that's explicitly stated in the movie, great. It's just more along the lines of that's how they visually represented time moving backwards. So,
Also, that's not the same thing that happened to the Flash when he did the same thing. So
right.
I mean, when you really go backwards in time, what really happens is
there is no backwards. There's only forwards.
Oh, Melinda.
there is no Dana,
Oh,
only Zol.
Melinda.
Mm-hmm.
Michael and
Yes.
Melinda, your videos are informative and entertaining and has given me many hours of enjoyment. I love your live streams. Earlier this year, I sent you a custom Mego Dick Tracy and my childhood Calibos, which we have on display here in the cases. Thank you so much. A few weeks ago, Melinda mentioned she likes anything Sylvester Stallone.
I do. I have something really amazing.
Did they
upstairs.
send her Sylvester Stallone?
And so she
Just his
doesn't
head.
feel left out. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
He sent you a custom Mego Sly, and you can
Ew.
decide whether or not you want him to have his First Blood outfit on or his Rocky outfit.
Oh, yes.
That is actually
Ooh,
pretty
that's
awesome.
actually really great.
Look at that face on him.
How did-
It says, thank you so much
How
for
do
all
you
you
get
do.
the like Stallone head? How does that work?
He customized it. Amigo custom John Rambo.
So
from
you
first...
sculpted
So
this?
it's John Rambo.
Hold it up. I want to look here.
Thank you so much for
Wow,
all
that's
you
really
do.
good.
I hope you enjoy these toys. P.S. If you decide to give her Rambo in an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice, that's all on you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. This is awesome.
Very nice.
So are you going to make him
Ooh,
first
neato,
blood, or are you
mosquito.
going to make him? Are you going to dress him up as Rocky?
Well, I mean, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Never mind. I don't know. I'll probably have him try on both. But check this out, you guys.
That is
Oh, and he has
amazing.
a gun. He has a gun.
Oh, just like Rocky.
I was gonna say, wait, what? His gun is.
Please.
Yeah,
Give me a break.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Is not a
What does he have on right now?
He has
It's
on his
Rambo.
outfit from First Blood when he first walks into town.
Remember he's walking down the long road.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's been a long road. No, that's not it.
Getting from
Would you like me to help you with that?
here
I'll
to
help you with that.
there.
I was I had it just how I wanted it.
But it's got to go like this. You,
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
It's
does.
the strength of the gun.
Okay. So, Wicked Person says it's a nonsensical kick. Yes,
I would
it is.
totally buy that. Just something made up for the.
That's right. And then Michael Cormier says it's explained in Cobra Kai season 3, which we will watch soon. Michael Hinkson says RetroBlasting Saturday live stream starring Aaron and Tim with angry guy and sarcastic singing woman. Sending love to you all. Beta Ray Bob says off-topic question for Tim: have you thought of doing a modern musing style about the Mega Constructs figures? It seems like you are getting the most hands-on experience with them.
Yes, we are going to be doing a feature about the He-Man Mega Constructs stuff.
Question was for Tim.
Yeah, the question was for Tim.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Yes, Tim and I are going to be doing that video.
Retro Station 1989 says 2 things. Number 1, your quality of videos inspired me to do more with my channel. And 2, will Darth Vader ever get those arms back? How if I have anything to say about it?
That's a puzzler.
These are vintage Doctor Who magazines that were sent by Owen.
What kind of things are in vintage Doctor Who magazines? Like, what do we learn upon those holy writs?
Well, in this one, it says the 2 doctors, John Pertwee and Sylvester McCoy, share their views on Stardom, plus Tom Baker's Planet of Evil full archive inside, which, dude,
Interesting.
Owen, thank you.
Whoa.
Planet of Evil is one of my favorites. And then he sent me the Sarah Jane Smith special magazine about Canine and Company.
Very
Nice.
cool.
That's
She
nice.
seems pensive.
She does have that kind of a face. She's got that pensive face.
Pensive,
And
resting
he
pensive
also
face.
sent, oh wow, check it out. He sent promotional original cards from Doctor Who that show the 5 doctors, or no, this might be the 3 doctors. No, this is the 5 doctors and Canine and Company. This is from spring 1994, but it's referring back to 1981.
Careful where you point that thing there, buddy.
Mm-mm.
And then he sent me these promotional postcards. Wow. Thank you, Owen. This is great.
It's very Whovian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's very Whovian.
It's very menacing.
It would behoove you to
Oh.
enjoy this box.
And
Of
inside we have...
That was funny.
Words.
Thunder Robot says Johnny said he cheated because that's how he felt, but Daniel said it's above the waist, so it's legal. And Johnny's students do it the same in the tournament too. So
Well,
that's probably a spoiler, but I don't know.
this paid spoiler has been brought to you by.
Blake Romo says, first, why are Star Wars anti-repro people so mean to you? Secondly, what jacket did Richard Dean Anderson wear in MacGyver? Is it an Averix G2? Is an Averix
Excellent
G2
question.
acceptable?
Any G2 Raider that has a distressed finish on the outside of the leather is acceptable. You know, knit cuffs, all that stuff, because the G2 Raider is a military spec jacket. So you want a G2 Raider that has a distressed surface to the leather. There was a specific French brand that they used for the MacGyver TV show, but that company's long out of existence. If you want to get real specific, MacGyver's jacket also has a black and red plaid pattern liner, which mine does not, because how often do you see the liner?
Every time you put it on is the answer to that question.
Yeah.
It's only important when you're doing Marty McFly, because he
Yes,
rolls his
'cause he
cuffs
rolls his
back and
cuffs.
you can
Yeah.
see the liner.
Owen, thank you so much for these magazines. Now, to answer your question about the repro people, all I was doing for the last few years was just making videos about toys I really thought were cool. And I like independently made toys as much as if it's a well-made, independently constructed toy, I like it just as much as a factory-made toy. So I was just making videos about that, and then suddenly I started getting attacked. And I don't mean that as like I'm a victim. I mean that as these people are ridiculous.
You just started getting fire.
Yeah, I just started taking fire from people who were trying to control our content. And as you know, I don't buddy up with big companies. I buddy up with my audience, and my audience liked the content, and I liked the stuff, and I talk about what I'm interested in, whether I like it or don't like it. It's what drives me. And so I told those people to go away. I told them you are not going to budge me on this. I don't know who you think you are.
I'll quote you. Get on now.
Yeah.
Get.
That only made them more angry, and they were already doing things to other people that I wasn't aware of. But I started to get more invested because they started doing crazy things to me, and I started looking into it. And the next thing I knew, I was discovering all kinds of crazy stuff, and they kept coming at me stronger and stronger each year. They come at me about 3 times a year when they think up a new like fairy tale to tell. I
think they come after him because Michael is very confrontational. And
yeah, but you know what?
He doesn't back down when he believes in what he's talking
you're
about.
very vocal about this.
Here's the thing.
This thing. So
people who say don't feed the trolls, in this particular case with the anti-repro people, that's what they want you to do. They want you to be quiet and not say anything and let them do what they do to other people, or let them get away with what they just did to you. And so, yeah, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but like, yeah, in most cases with your average harassment thing, it's like, yeah, just don't give them any attention. But in this case, they're banking on you not giving them attention in return. So,
well, it's just bullying.
Yeah, it's bullying is what it is.
That's all it is.
Wicked Person says, just noticed how good visually the mic setup is today.
Oh, thank you.
The new stands are awesome. Good job.
Please click the like button.
Yes.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are at almost at the hour. So the 2 hour mark. So as usual, we're going to do the Patreon after show in about 15 to 20 minutes over on Patreon for any of our patrons who are watching right now.
Mm-hmm.
We always do an after show for about an hour to an hour.
Please consider joining Patreon.
Yeah. And in the meantime, I'm working on a video that I've been shooting footage for this week. It's going to be something in the toy realm, but it's going to be something we've never talked about before on RetroBlasting. So I think you guys will like it or find it interesting, if nothing else. So that'll get posted sometime early next week on Patreon first, and then it'll go wide on YouTube 24 hours later. But in the meantime, if you guys need to reach out to us, thanks for joining us on the live stream today. I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you need to reach us, you can reach us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, through our Gmail. I'm glad we finally got to do this topic, because a few weeks ago, this topic was the beginning of technical troubles. And so I'm glad that it all worked itself out.
That's my favorite British documentary. Technical troubles.
And now we just have to pick what we're going to do for next week.
Yep.
Well, hey, let's do a live stream.
We should pick it early and announce it.
And
all right.
We will. Well, normally we do. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. So we'll pick something probably next week that's more toy related again, so we can get back to some of the toys, because there've been a lot of DVDs on the table the last few weeks. All right. So
let's do a Stallone live stream.
I keep saying we should, and
let's see if we can get him. There's no
There's
way.
no way.
That's not even.
No.
Please don't think that.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna go get ready for the Patreon after show. You guys have yourselves a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon. So,
All right. Bye, guys.
what's this got to do with my knob? Bye.
Bye.
I'll tell you after the show.